say hi. Hi, Cheddar. I came to message. Hi, Ava. Came with a message about someone with a love potion number 9. Oh, boy. Hey, Case. Let me see this real quick. Let me see how far this goes. Alright, saving. Oh, 48%. Cool. Awesome. Alright, let's see what Rocket Fire stuff is on tonight. There we go. Thought about this earlier. I thought you got the love potion number 9. Oh yeah, that's better. I was telling you, Dookie, when I moved that bib, that looks better where it's at than where it was before, where the vineyard and the beanie was. There you go. Excuse me. I just got out the shower. I'm hungry too. So, wait on this part of this project to save real fast. I want to see something. I just finished editing last night. The Legacy Source update. But I want to see something. Hey, Emo. This would be the only Cyber Song where Duke doesn't have a speaking role. That's a shame. Rip up the guitar. Okay. Damn. Wow. Oh, I thought you said country vacation. Yeah, this melody is so weird and also great at the same time. No! What? I started to love this more and more actually, because like people are coming into my comment section with the Raw Panero Show tape, and they're like, "Is this the Five Nights at Freddy's movie music?" Because you know like how on the first when they like do like da 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 da, and they play like the Five Nights at Freddy's song, I get so many comments of people putting timestamps of when that plays, and I'm like, y'all really notice because of Snap? That's nice. Like, Jesus. It's like the moment the show plays is Five Nights at Freddy's, and it's like, yep, that's Five Nights at Freddy's, y'all. But done by the Rockfire. You cannot make this stuff up. This is one of the weirdest Cyberstar show things they ever created. I agree. I don't know, when it comes to the Cyberstars have some weirdest show tapes. Like, they got some weird segments. I feel like this one of the most weirdest eras to enter. From both Chuck E. Cheese and Rockafire. And there's like the 1812 overtune at the end, but I think I might be the only person that likes that. Maybe. But, not gonna lie, the show was cooked in the programming, actually. They did good on programming wise. I'm trying to make this thing finish so I can hear something. Bum. Whoever edited the Cyberstars back then, they were probably having a good time with the edit because they went from camera shot to camera shot. They showbiz T. Jobs. They showbiz T. Jobs. I don't know why I said it like that. Alright, let's continue with it. Everything was made by Buck. I think it's cool now. Anyway, what are we doing tonight on this Tuesday? That's true. That's true. It is hit or miss. Right? Especially when they did the programming for Duke, and I'm not making this up either, by the way, too. There's footage of this. When they actually did Duke singing voice to Beach Bear, that was very questionable. I mean, like, how do you even mess up? Like, how do you mess up a character's singing voice with another character's singing voice? That is so weird. I don't even know. I don't know. But it was only 3 show tapes. So the first incident was Delivery show tape, which was the Creative Engineering version. Because remember, CEI had that drunk party, and the programming got deleted, and Showbiz took over, and they messed that up. The second attempt was the Neighborhood segment 1, when they talking about the from Guess Who. Literally, you watch the Cyberstar, it's Duke singing in Beach Bear's voice, and Beach Bear is singing backup. And then the third time is in the Tribute to Moms, when they did Match Copyright. There's a split shot where I don't know when to stop, but there's a split shot. Oh. Where Duke is singing like Beach Bear's lines again, and it's showing in the actual show. I don't know how they do it. It's the spider! think the double T's are showing up tonight. Or Dalton. Mm. Right?
Okay, so, you'll have to give your spider something easier to do, like,
Underline of your back to reading.
He said you're right here.
Oh!
He just admitted that.
That man really wished to death on a spider.
He said he's sorry.
He said he was sorry.
But if you're still a child ahead.
Oh!
Let's
Speechless.
play the song. I'll be in New York City where the light shines bright tonight.
Right. Right. Anyway, I got some announcements to share here tonight. And I know about saying this now, I'm going to forget it later on in the stream. So, got a few announcements, actually. So, announcement number one. I know I said around, next month, I was going to make a return to my local store in Houma, which is actually still true. So, I'm actually going to make a return there once the Bootacular show starts playing. At least that give me enough time, instead of seeing the summer show. So I'm going to go there once Bootacular starts playing and stuff. I don't know, I might just go early, just one quick little visit. I'm not sure yet. So I might go for an early visit and just see what happens or what is what. But I'm definitely gonna be vlogging in there, see some updates, see if we got rid of the camera, did we got rid of the lamps, and some other stuff. We got some of the new plushes too as well. But my plan is to buy the camera, the selfie stick, and the mic right before I start doing all of that again. So that's one of the things I'm planning on actually doing very, very soon. And God dang it. And another announcement too, I want to share as well. So me and Dookie had made a little deal. Actually. There we go. So he had texted me last night saying when he wants to go to the Chuck's Arcade location, and so I told him whatever works for you, man. That's totally up to you. So he was like, alright, I'm gonna go tomorrow with a few buddies of mine. We're gonna go out there and stuff. He's saying so. So I told him, alright, man, well, you don't mind doing me a favor and, getting a store tour out there for my channel. Figure it'd be good content and everything. So that's a favor on the table. but he also gave me a favor as well. The favor was that um, the favor was, can we watch the Calendar Head Night telethon on the stream? And I told him, yeah, of course, we can definitely do that. Well, he said Friday night, but I was like, I can't. I get off at 7 that night. So I was like, sure, I just got to figure out a day when to do it. But thought of it over. Because I know this tablet, it can die anytime when we're streaming, and the batteries go like very, very down. So I simply told him, thanks, Nate. Appreciate it, man. I'm glad you love the art in the background. We call this, we call this the Concert Keys collection wall. Right here for you again, man. I know you just popped out of random niche. Hope you've been alright. I know we just recently text yesterday, but hope you've been alright. But yeah, I told him, I said this. I was like, alright, instead of doing the little streaming party thing, instead of doing it on the laptop, doing it on the tablet, we're gonna do something better. So what I'm gonna actually do is, I don't know when I'm gonna do this yet, but I am going to actually premiere the Calendar Head Telethon, but I am actually going to put that quality into 4K quality, which I know it's like an hour, it's an hour long video. And I said, let's do something better. I don't want this tablet to die on me when we're watching this hour-long film. I don't want to watch it on no StreamYard, no Restream. Let's give something a bit better. So we are, like I said, we are getting the Calendar Head Telethon in 4K. That's going to be something I'm going to look into. And I said, it's going to kill my laptop because my laptop, it's... The thing is how much quality it will take, because right now it's taking something right now, though. Which I'm waiting on this to finish, because I need to watch something. I think the audio is kicking on me. So, it's going to be a pain, but my laptop has survived on so many other cases. So, I'll figure out when that whole thing will be. How that whole thing will be. I don't know when yet. But we might make it like a little like sub special, like a 2K sub special. You know, a little 2K sub special. That sounds very nice. But then he said whenever we do that, he'll send me the video for the Chuck's Arcade. And I was like, even if you don't do it, then we'll still get the people what they want. So. I do it. Easy. Like I always do all my videos. I don't use CapCut. All my 4K video qualities are on a different type of editor I use on my laptop. Hey, piece of dog. Yes. This laptop made through so many things. You others don't understand. Turn it down a bit. Literally, the Cheese Mansion 3 DVD was like 3 hours. Three 3 hours. That was a 3 hour video, and that took a lot of time for that laptop, for this laptop, to like literally save. And I was at my mom's house, literally staying up late night to get that whole video saved. And I learned that 4K quality, it does take its time. The laptop will have its issues. It will tell me to close down a few other selections, but yeah. So this ain't nothing. So can you sum it up what you're trying to talk about before I was busy? Okay, cool. So anyway, make a long story short, in order than 2K subs, I'll be premiering or putting the 4K quality of the Save the 1983 Save the Calendar Telethon. I don't know when yet, so I don't know when yet. But it was just a favor, a deal that me and Dookie made. If I do this for him, then he'll give me his video tomorrow or whenever of him filming at Chex Arcades if he does it. And it was supposed to be like a watch party thing, but I said instead of doing the like laptop thing, instead of doing the tablet thing, let's change it up. Let's put it to 4K quality, because I don't think we ever seen the telethon ever in like 4K quality, and at least from what I understanding. So that's gonna be a very fun project. Again, it's gonna kill me, but it's also gonna kill the laptop too, because it is a lot of videos to go into, and knowing the rate of it's like an hour. And I actually put the Galaxy 5000 too in a 4K actually as well. But I have seen too many of them, but I sent that over to Tyler for him and Taylor to watch. What? Hey Xavier. Lamb Chop's cousin, that's crazy. I honestly don't think this is really gonna happen. I really don't care. I know a lot of people. I have no words on this whole thing. Now, if this thing goes well through tomorrow, cool, I guess. I mean, at the end of the day, it's YouTube. You know. I mean, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I haven't really heard anything else besides what y'all talking about now, honestly. But, you know, I don't think nothing's really going to change with YouTube that much, honestly. But, you know, we'll see tomorrow. Again, you know, I'm not tripping out about it. People actually like to speak up on it, and it's like, no, there's nothing really to speak up on it. Like, it's YouTube. At the end of the day, YouTube has done so much stuff. Like, almost done. Felt part almost done.
Hey, we're going, Robin. It's too hard. Well, I was sitting around in the jacuzzi with Hulk the other day, and he told me it couldn't be done.
Uh-huh.
I didn't say it couldn't be done, Billy Bob. I just said the Looney Birds couldn't do it.
That's not very nice.
Well, I'm not trying to be nice, just honest. It's a well-known fact that Looney Birds have never invented anything. And I really suggested that he go back to something a little more natural to his species, like hunting nuts and berries in the forest.
Right.
Very inspiring, but I still quit.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see what tomorrow brings. But as far as I know, I am not switching on any other platforms whatsoever. So, for those wondering what's going to happen to this, I am not switching to no other platforms. Whether this thing goes through or not, it does not bother me. It does not concern to avoid me. YouTube has always been YouTube, and that's the bottom line. So, at the end of the day, this is a YouTube situation, and whether this goes through or not. So, you can just. Good, good. That was good. Some type of ice cream. Alright, beyond that, can we talk about something else? How about something else in here that I found hilarious and funny? Can we just talk about how nobody knows the fact that, we have any final footages showing a Pro City before their closure on Sunday? Well, we had the Chile store. We had like so much videos of that store around Sunday. And currently some more. And both of them closed on the exact same day. Yeah, there was actually no footage, at least to my knowledge. There was no footage of Pearl City's final day. That's why I found it so hilarious. It's like, there's barely footage of Pearl City anyway. I don't think Pearl City went all out during their final day. I don't think they really. I mean, they should, obviously. It's 30 plus years. I feel like they can't waste down the drain. Yes. it is kind of less care because I'm not gonna say like, oh, they don't have a Chucky anymore. Obviously, it feels weird. Like you have a TV and no Chucky, but it makes sense because people were saying the turntable broken, and then I don't know. It went from their Chuck was broken, and then the turntable got broken. They used to do a lot of like partying a lot for their live shows. Not live shows, they did like a lot of performance with all the walkarounds. Then somebody like got in contact with corporate about that action. Then they discontinue it like for that. And then Pro City stages start like age. So in all honesty, it does surprise me that Pro City like it's gone. Um, Again, it doesn't surprise me. But what doesn't surprise me too, which also kind of sucks, is how these other Hawaii stores, these other two Hawaii stores, not other, are now finally getting rid of their sky tubes for the stupid trampolines and the ninja runs. Oh, look at that! Speaking of the devil, so you said donuts, then that means only one. So, I can never escape this one for you. Donuts? Oh, donuts! You me, sweet succulent donuts! I thought you were gonna say, what the CEC animation? With the turntables broken and the Chucky box removed and destroyed, that's true, yeah. So if they put them in a museum, it doesn't surprise me, but we all know where we're gonna be at next. They are not going to no damn museum. That's another thing. I feel like they're not going to a museum. I feel like they just saying that just to put hope in everybody's stomachs. But then again, if that's the case, that's cool. That's great. That is amazing. I think all these other stages that should have been saved should have been in the museum. But I feel like they're just gonna go to SPT and get like destroyed. They didn't get destroyed already. Like that's how I see it. I generally feel like they're not gonna put that stage, that crappy stage in no museum. They don't deserve to be in a museum. They deserve to be destroyed. You know, they should have did that. I don't know why SPT thought it was a really cool idea to save the stage. Like it's there's more literally to go either home to SPT or the bad home to landfill. No, they can go to the landfill. They destroyed. They deserve to be destroyed. That's the thing. I don't think SPT is gonna put those guys in the museum, or supposedly they say a museum, but I just don't feel like that's the case. Like I said, if that's the case, there's a lot of shows that should have been in a museum that, you know, could be in display in a museum, honestly. But I just feel like they're just saying that just for like to get people talking. But if it's true, if that rumor is true, then alright, cool. But I feel like they're gonna destroy those spots anyway. Incorporating, right, exactly. They've been having this museum idea for like 2 to 3 years now. And who I was talking? Yeah, and I was talking to a friend of mine, two of them actually, about this idea. I was like, I said this. I said, there's an opportunity. Well, I was talking to Josh. I was talking to Josh the Loyal Star the other day. And I told him, I'm like, and this had something to do with Chuck's Arcade. But I was like, the opportunities that they have were there. Like 2020, when the company was in bankruptcy and they were trying to find ways to like financially get life, those opportunities were really right there calling their names. The museums, the arcades, the legacy stores, you know, whatever we seen today that they're doing, the creative stuff that we said that's good, those ideas could have saved their little asses a long time ago. Like honestly, like let's keep it real. Like they could have saved that all that could have saved, but they decided to go into the route they keep going, and that is again wasting money on unnecessary things. And now you're trying to save money, where it's like again it's pretty stupid honestly. Um, Again, the ideals were theirs, but it took you 2 to 3 years later to find out what's really going on. You find out what's in the wrong. You find the errors of your ways, and now it's already too late because the damage already been done. You know. Again, that's corporate for you, honestly. So that's how I see it. That's how I see it. How Josh doing? Um, yeah, all right. I mean, gonna be honest. I mean, he kind of fell off. But you know, he's doing all right. Besides the fact that he kind of fell on off from the YouTube universe, and you know, slowly, unfortunately, trying to gain back. So you know, I guess once you fell off, I guess your aura is, you know, gained there, obviously. Jeez, it's slow. Just want to see something. All right, you want to be free? Free from what? Jesus Christ. Too late for that, sweetheart. Alright, y'all. It's the Shrek song. Do-do. Do-do. Okay, yeah, Donkey. Donkey did better. Yeah. I think everyone heard about it. Yeah. Though. it does make sense why I got pushed back. Actually, um, though I can understand why I got pushed back, and it's not really do anything with the animation. Maybe they are going to change up the animation, but apparently, when I was watching Dansley's Down Under video yesterday last night, because that's like the first thing that popped up was his video, and the hell. Oh, okay. That was like Taylor Turner. I was like, what the hell? I ain't talked to y'all all day. But anyway, um, apparently, um, there's a new Disney movie coming out that same like the same year. Well, yeah, the same year next year. That's coming out. That's gonna like do well in the box office. So I'm guessing like Universal Studios don't want to put that pressure up and stuff. Again, smart idea by the way. I gotta admit, but people are also saying too that Into the Spider Verse is releasing the exact same week. Uh, in the movie, like the same week or days before Track Five, and then some also speculated that, oh, it might not include Puss in Boots because if you watch the second movie, The Last Wish, there was this. And no, well yeah, and you got Ice Age 6 too, and then but people are saying too like with Puss in Boots, people are saying like, oh, he might not be in the movie. Because like I said, you watch The Last Wish, you see there's a little cliffhanger scene where it says far, far away. And everybody was freaking out saying, oh yes, they're hinting that there's another Shrek movie in the making. And they're saying that Puss in Boots might not be in the movie. So I don't know what's going on with it, man. I don't know. I mean, look, 2027, that's cool though. I know they've been working really, really hard on this movie. And I know it does take a lot to make the movie so perfect, the storyline perfect. Maybe they'll change up the animation again to make it seem like to the characters we all know and love. Maybe we'll get like a better storyline. Um, but who knows? Who will know what this whole movie will come out with? Yeah, the Donkey movie too. See, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. I feel like news media, they always come like, I forgot when was the docu movie was in the word. I know it was now like a few months ago. This wasn't recently. I can tell you that because I know this for a fact that um this wasn't like a recently news. They've been talk actually um of a donkey movie. Like Eddie actually mentioned it. I forgot which where it was that he mentioned it or which interview he said, but it wasn't recently. It was like a few months back, and then he brought it back up again. I guess that's where everyone in the news media kind of caught on saying that Donkey is finally getting his own movie because he did spoke up about it before. He was like with Puss in Boots saying that he loves Puss in Boots, but he think that Donkey should also get his own little movie. And that's finally happening. Like he said, they're supposed to record next month for the Donkey movie. Um, where it's like Donkey will show his life with his white dragon and their kids. He didn't really say when it's supposed to come out. We don't really have a word yet. I ain't really hear nothing about 2029. Um, all we know from Eddie is saying that um, they're making the Donkey movie. Like it's in production. Like recording should start September, and
like a cross between AC/DC and Lawrence Welk.
Yeah, sort of like Dirty Deeds done wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. No, you know what happened is I kind of blew it. Got my hand kind of tangled up like between the G and the D.
And then we also got some other news on the Michael Jackson biopic, by the way, too. And I think no one else heard about this, but apparently, we got some news about the biopic with Michael, because that's another thing that's actually happening too. So, for what I read earlier today, instead of so originally when the biopic was gonna come out, were going around saying that it was gonna be a two-part series. I mean, a two-part biopic thing. So it's finally been announced that the biopic will now be 4 hours long. So this is about to be a 4 hour biopic. And the Lionsgate, I want to say Lionsgate, the execs, they took that idea off the table with the two parts. So the biopic now is about to be 4 hours long. And that's, again, that is crazy. True, and don't forget it did got postponed as. Yeah. Then don't forget too, they got postponed. They postponed the movie because the protests back in 2023. So that set back a lot of things. They were finishing up the movie. Something came up. I don't know. A lot of stuff was going around saying that like something came up with the movie, and then they had to redo it again. And now they're like, oh yes, 2026 is when we're gonna drop it. The biopic. The dates got changed around, so now they're like, oh hey, we're actually gonna, 20, like whenever. There's gonna be 4 hours film. I don't know how much it's going to be covered, because again, this is Michael Jackson, so this is like gonna be one of the biggest biopics ever. Which I know there's gonna be a lot to cover, a lot to cover, and it's like so much history, documentation. Again, I'm just, I get it. There's a lot to talk about in the biopic. There's a lot to put in. You got to put in some things which is true, and you got to put some other stuff. I know they're not gonna get like every single thing for Mike, because it again that'll probably be hard, but you know. Right, and next thing you know, they're gonna discontinue it again, and then they're gonna deadline it also too. You ain't get a trailer yet though, but I'm hoping they don't delay it again, because we ain't get like no trailer or nothing. Yeah, no, we didn't get a trailer yet, so that's how you know like so much schemy stuff is going around. People saying, "Oh yes, the Super Bowl, last year's Super Bowl, we was gonna get the biopic, or this past Super Bowl, not last year, this past Super Bowl, we was gonna get the biopic." No, we didn't get the biopic. We didn't get the biopic trailer that we all hope for. Then people are saying, "Oh, it's gonna drop here, it's gonna drop there," and it's like, no, it didn't drop yet. So again, it's kind of up in the air what's really going on right now, and it's furious to a lot of Michael Jackson fans, because they said that the estates for Michael, who was above the estates or worked with who works in the Michael Jackson estates, they are not doing a really good job at anything right now, and it goes to show you like how much dirt is happening. And people say that the Michael Jackson estates, they do not care much about Michael. Um, they just want the money out of him, and they treat the fans really poorly. The fans, they speak up on so many things in their comment sections. Again, it's like, it's so ridiculous. But these are like diehard MJ fans. These are like those types of MJ fans, like you go into their house and you see their whole house is decorated literally with MJ items. Like you go into their room and it's literally MJ around, you know. And I get it. I understand how the estates are and how it's run and everything. Uh, you know, there's so much bigger projects that could be focused on right now. But at the same time, with this biopic coming out very, very soon, and hopefully we do get a trailer very, very soon as well. Again, if it gets delayed, then it's like, you know, it's. I'm not that diehard to have my whole. Yeah, exactly. I've seen a lot of, like, fans, and I don't blame them too. But content creators as well, they have everywhere, like Michael Jackson, you know? It's like, that's their main topic is about Michael. Accounts about Michael, and it's like, y'all really some diehard fans that really love Michael. But again, I'm just really hoping that we get something out of this biopic, you know. Now, I don't know for sure if if the other family members will be in the biopic. I heard some things about the Interstate do not like one of the sisters. I don't know if it was Janet or Rebe or Latoya. I'm not 100% sure if all the family members are going to be in there. A lot of people say that the family members should, the Jackson sisters should not be in the biopic because they do not really deserve their own part in the spotlight in this whole thing. Then some say that Janet Jackson deserves her own biopic. Again, it's a lot of ridiculous stuff. So think of it as corporate, but more like a they have the rights over the music for the artist, and they're getting money off of the artists they listen to. Basically, like the interstates, like they get control over Michael Jackson music. They control everything with Michael Jackson's stuff. Like for example, if um, I'm gonna do a quick Google search. So basically, the interstates of Michael Jackson is a God, I can't even think of it right now. So basically, the interstates of Michael Jackson is a legal entity established after his death in 2009 to the administrator his property and oversees his. Sorry. Basically, there's someone that they do their property. Oh my god. I can't even talk. Alright, some this whole I can't even talk right now. So basically, there are people that look over his incomes. Yeah, that's a good word. They look over his income. So after Michael Jackson's death in 2009, his property in overseas is it's over these people. So intentionally estimated to be worth 482 million. The IRS later found his net worth closer to be 1.125 billion. A judge ruled that Jackson was worth $4.15 million at his death, and his heirs were released from a 700 million interstate tax bill. Billboard's interstate Jackson take from writing be around 12.2 million. Which, in other words, I'm about to pull up the phone on the chat because there we go. No, Sony did not have control over Michael Jackson's music. Or Epic Records has control over Michael Jackson's music. Actually, I'm reading right now on Wikipedia. Well, Sony used to. Sony did, but as you remember, Sony actually he left Sony, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a whole nother story right there. With Sony basically like mess up Michael Jackson's last album. And I mean, yes, they still own like part of his music and stuff. That's how you knew like Sony did like those other albums, like the Michael album and the Escape album too, which I think Sony is still over to this day. I want to say Epic Records as well, but anyway, you know, Sony messed up Michael Jackson's last album when he was alive, and he was getting payback on that for it. So anyway, yeah, they illegally essentially established funds in death from American singer Michael Jackson in purchase of overseeing his incomes. Of course, Jackson's last will was filed by attorney John Breca. Again, this guy here, John Breca, which a lot of high diehard MJ fans like know him, and some of them do despise him. So Jackson Last Will was appealed by attorney courthouse was on July 1st, 2009. This was signed July 7th, 2002. It was named that John and accountants John McClain as executives. They were confirmed as the by a local Los Angeles judge on July 6th, 2009. All assets are given to the pre-existing Michael Jackson Family Tree Trust, which was admitted on March 22nd, 2002, the details of which has not been made public. The Associated Press reported that in 2007 that Michael Jackson had a net worth of $236.6 million, 567.6 million assets, which include the Neverland Ranch, and his 50% share owns of the Sony ATV Music Publishing catalog, which of course that was also when he had a lot of music rights to as well, by the way, with the Beatles and all those other artists too. And deaths, 331 million. The guardianship of his three children is given to his mother Catherine, or if she is unavailable or willing, then to singer Diana Ross, which of course Michael and Diana has so many great history together. I guess you can say great history together, depending on how you look at it. I think a lot of people despise Diana Ross for what she did to Mike. I don't know. Anyway, so then it says here that in 2012, an attempt to end this family disputes, Jackson brother Jermaine retracted his signature on the public, saying, criticizing the executives of the estate and his mother advisors over his brother's will. TJ, who was the son of Tito Jackson, was also getting co-guardianship of Michael Jackson's children. After false reports, there was actually false reports saying that Catherine has went missing around 2012. Again, crazy stuff after Michael Jackson's death. It's ridiculous. Media reports suggested that the settlement of the interstates could last many later, so the value of the Sony ATV Music Publishing estimated to be 1.5 million. The estimate makes Jackson's share of the Sony ATV worth 750 million, from which Jackson would have an actual income of 80 million. In September 2016, the deal was finalized for Sony. A Jackson share of the Sony's ATVs from the Jackson Interstate for 750 million. Jesus Christ, it's a lot. So yeah, this is pretty much what it is. And there was like some of the other stuff here, like lawsuits and other stuff. Which just as of July of 2025, Paris Jackson formally ejected to the interstate request of legal fees, raising concerns about irregular payments, including so-called premium payments for unrecorded authority times, and urged the court to deny the free request until the invoicing was provided. So yeah, I hope that answers so many questions. Like, again, it's ridiculous. So the people behind Michael Jackson's estate, you know, again, it's crazy. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. That was a lot to read too. That was another thing. That was a lot to read as well, and that hurt me. Do I think that 2009 This Is It film was only made to profit off of Jackson's death? I really don't know. I haven't seen This Is It. I heard about it. I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. That is a really good question. I have to watch the film myself to understand, because I know like it was one of his last rehearsals that he did, and um, maybe it was something to profit off his death. Again, it's the interstate. I keep saying the interstate. It's the estates. I would not 100% be surprised because they know how to do a lot of slimy stuff behind the scenes. Um, but if that was just a profit off of it, then again, I'm not no big surprise there. Or maybe they just did that just to contribute to his death. Then again, I mean, the possibility is unknown, but the estates. Again, I don't know, man. I don't know. I have to watch it. Like I said, I gotta watch it myself to really understand it and stuff, like to really get the feeling. Um, I mean, I heard the song. I heard the actual song itself. The song is actually pretty good. I admit that, but I think so. It might have been because people were sad about MJ's death. Yeah, that too. That too. And then usually like whenever the last rehearsal was, the day before his death, which I know that already passed, like a lot of people post clips about it as well. So I guess they just did that to like not really make a profit off of it. But again, if it was that the case, then again I'm not surprised by the estates by that whatsoever. But I want to generally feel like they probably did it because it was MJ's death, and a lot of people love MJ very very much. So they did it just because, not just I'm not gonna say the profit off of it, but just to give the people what they want and show like this was the real, like this was the last rehearsal or whatever it was in that documentary TV, whatever it was, in that film that showed like, hey, this was really what happened during the time. Because again, he was supposed to go to the O2 and perform this big show because he was so in depth, like he was about to do this show and everything, and then next thing you know, uh, days later, he passed away of unexpectedly. And a lot of people just didn't know what was gonna come next after that. And there's a lot of reasons behind it what MJ should have done. Like he should have. It was the drugs. It was, but that's another thing too. So people literally thought that. I mean, people thought that they were gonna kill Michael, and that was the case. Like there were even like recordings. Like Michael said that they were going to kill him, whoever it was. They were going to kill him, and I feel like that was the case too. Like especially when the doctor gave him that medicine, and even though he couldn't went to sleep because MJ been through like a lot of stress during those rehearsal times, and I mean, yeah, he did warn him, saying it wasn't supposed to be the case, and then was Michael at the same time. I really feel like he should have just not did that, But there's a lot of things like wish it was different. I feel like honestly, if it wasn't for that third degree burn incident, um, I think Mike's life could have been so much better. Like the Pepsi incident, when they filmed that commercial and he had like that scarf and stuff, that really changed my life forever. I think that's where like it went downhill from there. Like, because that's how you knew that that was a totally different Michael. from there after that whole incident with the scout and stuff. But yeah, there's like so many more, but I just feel like it's one of those things. Right back over here. The Pepsi accidentally really started it. The hair loss, yeah. The painkillers, that stuff, yeah. Like Michael turned into, it was really bad, dude. I feel like that was it. And I think Smokey Robinson actually said it himself that like he didn't like the direction Michael was going, but in Mike's mind, it was like, um, whatever you say to him that was not right, he's gonna like immediately cut you off for good, and it just again it was weird because not weird, but I get it's Mike's life, Mike's an adult, but I feel like that that incident could have been resolved in so many ways. Like it could have been avoided in so many ways, but nobody knew what was gonna happen after that incident. We never like again so many things could have happened too. But that's another thing as well. Like aside from the Pepsi incident, the whole Victory tour was just a mess. It was just a mess from beginning to end. Basically, too as well. Like there was it was just a whole mess. Mike didn't want to do it. Mike had enough money already. He was making money off of Thriller, but he only did it because his brothers needed the money, and that's the only way, you know. Especially crazy too, since it was halfway point of his career. He was 25 when it happened to him. Yeah, exactly. So imagine you're 25 years old. You just sold the best album in the whole world. You know your music video was going great. You're making a lot of money off of it. You just literally did the most epic moonwalk, and you're doing this victory tour with your brothers, even though you don't want to do it, but you know you have the money, but everybody else needed the money, and you know your life almost lost. You almost lost your life, and again that's crazy to think about. But instead of Mike, who's being who was selfish with the money, he brought the money to charity too, and again, props to him. I think that's one thing I do not want to see in the biopic is like the hair incident, that and the allegations. I don't think I'm ready to like sit down and be like, this scene is coming up. Like I think that's one of the two things MJ fans are not ready to see, like the allegations and the hair incident happen. I don't think a lot of fans are ready to witness something like that because of how deep it is in his life. And I know they're gonna get really deep into his life. I like Alien 8 for Super Channel and Michael Jackson covers. No, Michael Jackson hater. Alien Ant Farm? You mean the Disney Channel show? The old Disney Channel show? That's what it sounds like to me. Or is it something different? No? Okay. Dude, I don't give a care about the YouTube verification thing. At the end of the day, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. I don't care what YouTube is doing. Alright? YouTube is YouTube. They always do some BS all the time. I really don't care. This channel is not going anywhere. Alright? You're still gonna have the streams. You're still gonna have the content. Y'all acting like, well, some of y'all are acting like my channel is going away. No, it's not. Like it's not going away. This doesn't affect me, so I don't care about the verification thing. Alright. Let YouTube be its own self. YouTube been followed off, so but I'm letting y'all know I'm still here and I'm still gonna continue what I'm doing. So, okay, but it was something else. Okay, never mind. My bad. You say like Alien Ant Farm, but I never heard of it. Oh, man. No, I haven't heard about the incident. In that same time, can I care less? Yes, I can freaking care less about it. Generally ask you, please stop bringing it up to the stream, actually. Okay, never mind. It's a band that covers Supergirl. Oh, never heard of them. Okay, maybe I did. Okay, my bad. When you say Alien Ant Farm, I'm thinking of the Disney Channel show. My bad. Alright, it's up. It's time. In a few minutes, I'm gonna show you guys the progress of the editing of the next topic. I'm not playing the whole full video, by the way, because that's too long to look at. I'm gonna show you guys the edit so far of the 2.0 topic. Like I said, last night I just finished editing the Legacy Store updates. So, I'm about to just play that bit of a clip so far. I don't listen to the Jackson 5 albums. I really don't, and that's crazy. I don't say it's crazy. I'm more into. I'll listen to some of their songs here and there. I'll listen to some. I don't listen to all of them. But me, it's like I'm more into Michael Jackson. I grew up with Mike, so I'm kind of more into like Michael Jackson music. The Jacksons, I'll listen to the Jacksons, but I'm more into Michael Jackson. But I love songs like ABC, uh, Stop the Love You Save, um, I Want You Back, Never Can Say Goodbye. Like, I'm into those. I'm into those songs, but other than that, you will never catch me listen to a a Jackson 5 album. That's just me, though. Thoughts on the Motown albums in general? Again, you'll never catch me listening to some of the Motowns, like the albums. Give me an artist. That's another thing. You can't just tell me in general. Like, I need an artist, dude. Like, Jermaine. I listen to some of his stuff here and there. I know Johnny Gill was actually at one point in Motown. I listen to his stuff. But yeah, give me an artist. Like Temptations. Yeah, I listen to Temptations. Hey, Ava. Thanks for saying hi. And thanks for listening. I was referring to the Brothers albums. Oh, okay, never mind. I was like, I know what you mean by like, you know. Well, appreciate you listen to me yap. I appreciate that so much. I think that's what you all like to do is come here and listen to me yap. I was referring to the Brothers albums, Michael, Jermaine, and the Jackson as a group. Michael's like solo albums. I don't listen to Michael's solo albums from Motown. Jermaine, it's like a hit or miss for me. Again, I listen to like his other ones that he made back in like the 80s and 90s. I just don't really. It's not my cup of tea. Listen to those old ones. Some of them, yes, some of them. Depends. Jackie, I can never listen to Jackie's albums like that. I listened to the one he made back in like 1990. That was actually really good. But the one he made in Motown, I cannot listen to that. Now, as a group, like I said, you'll never catch me listen to a Jackson 5 album entirety unless it's like some memorable classic like ABC, I Want You Back, Never Can Say Goodbye, I'll Be There, you know, those classic gems, then yes, I will listen to them. But other than that, like a full album from the Jacksons, five, no, no, I probably would not. I probably won't like sit down to admit it, you know. I do listen to the Michael Jackson crew Out the Wall tracks from time to time. Oh, so you're talking about before the Epic Records and stuff. See, when I was growing up, I thought Out the Wall was his first actual solo album, but it was actually those Motown stuff that was his solo albums. I didn't really know that, honestly. Well, I learned more into it, and then I didn't think about that. I thought like Out the Wall was like his first solo album, but it was his. Uh, it wasn't. But yeah, Michael Jackson solo albums like Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad, those types I will listen to. Like I will listen to on a basic from time to time. I'll listen to. Um, so yeah. Yeah, no, I had a few albums off before Off the Wall. I thought it was just solo albums. It started as like, you know, it was Off the Wall. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like literally, I thought it was Off the Wall was his first album, but it wasn't. It wasn't apparently. It was one of those Motown hits that they were trying to push out. So I think, yeah, I heard about it because of that documentary that came out years ago. Um, Journey to Motown from Off the Wall. Am I a big Motown fan? No, I am not a big Motown fan. Like, if I was a big Motown fan, like I would name everything off from Motown. I like some songs from Motown. I just don't like all the artists from Motown. The Jacksons Five, I you know I can listen to. Temptations, I can listen to. Um, I was about to say Stevie Wonder. I don't know if Stevie Wonder was on Motown. Um, you know those types of people. Not Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Not like that. Or not like the Big Tops. You know. And then the thing. Okay, so the reason why I don't know you actually because of this show tape or not, but I'm gonna say this anyway. The reason why I just loved April 2006 is because like it was that show that really have a lot of Motown hits in a lot of Motown. What was it we called it? We call it the Motown Epic Records show or something. That's what we call it at one point. I forgot, but I know some of them were Motown and some of them was by Epic Records. But that's why I love the show tape so much because it contributes to like these a lot of songs that come from like straight Motown, straight Epic Records, and mainly all of them are black artists, and that's another thing too that I like is like the black artists um, get their time to shine into the whole show. I mean, besides from I want to celebrate, but you know, that's one thing I love about this show. But me being a big Motown fan, not really, not really. I don't really listen to a lot of Motown hits. Like, I really can't listen to all those like those old school hits. I mean, I grew up listening to them a lot, some of them, but I can never say like, yeah, I'm big on Motown because of it. One second, I'll be right back. Oh, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Hello, Thomas. There's a lot of people in here tonight that just pops up. It's almost done. Thomas, are you officially making a return to YouTube, or you just came in and dropped in to say hi again? Go ahead and get back to Dan. Oh, man. Oops. There we go. Also, even though I'm still editing, what's on the process of editing the new upcoming blog, I might have to make a return over to Marrero again to check something out. I'm not really sure yet. I'm not 100% sure yet if I want to go back. I had to go this weekend to Metairie, but I figure on the way there, I'll stop at Marrero at the old building one more time and see something. I don't know yet. I do not know yet, but hopefully. Oh shoot, finally saved. Awesome. I just want to see something. Let me play this real quick. I'm gonna play this real quick for you guys. This ain't 4K quality either, so that's good. Which will be right. We are not watching the full. 1 second. view. I think it's up. My bad.
Went out and sold off. Maybe it's like 34 years later. So don't take this all serious. After you, a year later, the awesome invention machine gave birth to the COC, which the and when the circuit around October, Circle the Lights location, destination Chuck E. Cheese, body encounter are
I'm gonna flip this around. Then I turn out the lights. Turn out the lights. No, I was playing that for the countdown, actually. I say we're not watching the video in full. It's a very long video. We're not watching it again. There we go. Alright, I'll play from here.
added, unless they are older titles that need changing.
The popular kids' birthday destination, Chuck E. Cheese. You know that, right? Well, people are like, oh, yeah. Chuck E. Cheese has announced that they are getting rid of their famous animatronic band. Yeah.
Jeez, the lighting's horrible.
Well, we've discussed many world topics tonight so far. This is the one that has you most outraged. That says so much about us right now. And I'm with you, I'm not judging. We've talked about Afghanistan and rallies and protests in Phoenix. No, people are like, oh, Chuck E. Cheese. No! What the hell, man? True, though, the Chuck E. Cheeses are getting rid of all of their animatronic bands. All of them. And it is really sad. I mean, you can see how the decision has affected morale around the Chuck E. Cheese restaurants. Check it out.
Hey kids, maybe you heard. Downsized, but it's been a great 40 years, so no hard feelings.
Yeah, I can barely feel the knife in my back.
Now here's an old song with some brand new changes.
Something that's been announced for about 8 years to the public is something they have been trying to do for decades. Exactly. Oh, yeah. My bad. Is this on Valley?
Model. It's time to discuss the other subject that involved around the company, which I've discussed numerous times before, and that's the Chuck E. Cheese legacy stores. For context, the legacy location are previously referred to as the much better than emergency or
I should bring it to the TV.
as the Chuck E. Cheese retro store. Whatever you want to call it is totally fine by you, or a selected few locations that have retained their animatronic stage shows, as was created as an official response to the backlash from the
I think that was the whole point, buddy.
restaurants, as they were considered as hybrid locations, blending the nostalgia of animatronics with modern elements of the Modern 2.0 update. Around 2023, the Northbridge
Okay, I thought so. When I was on the editor this morning, it cuts the part out with 2020, so that's why I had to save it. I had to save it. I know I said 2023. Anyway, my bad. I just want to see my editor was playing around with me, and it did.
blending the nostalgia of animatronics with modern elements of the Modern 2.0 update. Around 2023, the Northbridge, California will be the first, which housed a two-stage, as was confirmed that Northbridge will be the only store to keep the animatronics. However, last year around 2024, CEC went back on their word, and we will see 4 more locations. These locations are Newark, New York, which housed a 16 movement CEC beta, Hicksville, New York, which housed a 1-stage, Springfield, Illinois, which housed a
No, this is part
1
2.
stage, which I've never heard this location of Springfield, Illinois. Is that like a place of field?
This is combined all together.
Class? What is that name? What is the CU1 stage? Never heard that before. In Pineville, North Carolina, which housed A3 stage. Now, of course, I have made several videos on the Legacy Store topics, which you want to check
Hey,
out.
this boy's got his
Playlist
beach
will be linked
tan
in the description.
skin.
However, while we're on the topic, it's time to discuss some various updates regarding the Legacy stores. So strike right in, folks, because this is a lot to cover.
I like that shot of Jasper.
Around September 2024, Northbridge will go under the test of a new EEPROM chip.
Yes, this was done last night.
To the Cybermemory singles.
The last bit was done last night.
Same configuration as the CEC stage rotella.
Oh, they didn't take long to do either.
What that is. This was a special software created by Dave Phillipson in 1997, as was used to translate programming from the 3 stage to the Cybermemory stage. This was to reduce unneeded programming of characters across both stages and began use in the August 1997 show tape. The name CEC Stage Rotella was used as a software could be described as translating the programming information from the 3-stage bit charts to the Cybermemory equivalent bits. During these times, the Import 18 crew would take a visit to the Urban Texas store to test out the Cybermemory.
Yes, I went to the library and, in the study room.
When the store got remodeled in 2019, the 1 stage was...
You're gonna notice a difference a lot in the recording tones, actually.
...in stores in the back room at Huntington, Texas, as this location has so much documentation history. This store will be used as a test store for the Cybermemories as well until around October 2022, when Arlington got their model and the show moved to the back room, as corporate will still use Arlington show before its unfortunate closure on March 17, 2024. However, with this new change,
so with them being like with me being the study, my bad. I get talking and not hear that's at the same time. So some of the recordings was recorded here in the room. Some recordings was recorded in the kitchen at night. And some of it, like this one previously in the road stage one, were filmed in was recorded in the library. So I went to the library last Thursday and I started recording in the room, and I had to record quick because I think I heard somebody was talking in the next room. So yes. So okay, I'm gonna clear this up. There's no 2 parts to this series. This is literally the hour part. So I was gonna edit the 2 parts together, like separately, but I decided to add them both together in the edit. So this is part 2 of the edit that's adding up right now. Part 1 is already finished, but instead of doing 2 parts of the edit and then combining the video both together, which again is going to take longer to do, I decided to just bring them both together so I can save all that trouble. So I'm doing continuing timestamps. So that's what's going on. But you'll notice the difference too in the recording. You'll hear me speaking a good tone, like right now, and then you're going to hear me speaking a softer tone in some recordings because with being in the study room and everybody's walking and sometimes talking, I have to be really careful how to record. So yeah.
Meaning the eyes will be closed when they're supposed to be open. This is due to how movies are designed differently between stages. Due to the results, Northbridge test did not include this bug, except for the head-ups being inverted. As with this new EEPROM chip, all legacy stores were told to disable the random movements in the settings as a reason to prevent maintenance. This new EEPROM chip now disabled that directly from startup, though it can still be manually on. Around March 11, 2025, both Pineville and Springfield would have received a similar EEPROM chip that also had an auto-disable random movement.
Okay, I know. This is a funny part right here. I was trying to find some like good footage, and I was just like, oh, Liam video. So I just hope nobody gets this confused when this does drop. Even though like the show was having a trouble that day, this kind of coincides with like the movements too. So I'm hoping this doesn't cause no confusions whenever this thing drops. Unless some people will care. Yes, this is Liam's footage, actually. This is when the show was, like, having problems on its first run. And I was like, I'm gonna use this anyway because it kind of talks about like the random movements being off. So yeah.
As with the Navarhism, it does not have a single playlist for both type of legacy stores, which also forces the Cyramic stages to discontinue the CC state diagnostics after 33 years, as they currently use the 3-state diagnostics, which can be unhelped with the merger of unused or reformatted movements.
We did have footage actually. We did have footage at one point in Pittsville and Pinesville playing the 3-state diagnostics. Unfortunately, those footage has been taken down due to corporate, so that's why I used the actual footage instead. So sucks to suck, huh?
As of April 2025,
TJ's!
Cyramic stores that haven't gone under remodel or closed was slowly converting to the 3-stage EPROS and will switch over, starting playing Legacy Store Showcase, with the exception of Huntington Beach, California, and Pearl City, Hawaii, as they'll be the only 2 stores to use regular programming. Now, as of typing, making, and hopefully by the release of this video, these locations are permanently closed.
Pearl City is actually closed. Huntington Beach is right around the corner.
May they rest in cheese, or is it pepperoni?
Okay, so here's another part in the script too, and I edited this little audio out last night. So with the Chile location, I did mention that as well. I actually mentioned that in the script. I pronounced the location wrong, by the way, so my apologies. But I mentioned that as well, saying like unless like except for the store in Chile because they will actually see another day. But I'm gonna mention that like in the conclusion of the story or something like that. I don't know yet. I just added that out. I'm like, I don't think we need to talk about that right now. Most days look different with dim light. That is true. Okay, we're almost close to the end.
Going back with the legacy locations, as for a brief time, the legacy locations would have added 3 extra live shows, which would be Chucky's Easy Dance, Chucky's Happy Dance, and Chucky Cha Cha, before it was taken out of the system. Now, with those updates out of the way, as stated before, after these 5, there's going to be no more legacy stores. However, knowing CDC themselves, they went back on their words again. As was confirmed around February 9, 2025, it was shared that the 6th and final legacy location will be at the Mississauga, Canada location, at this House of the World Road stage. Now, for those who don't know what that stage is, let me explain.
So that's basically what it is. So far, it's an hour, 24 minutes, and 29 seconds. That's just the Legacy Store update. So that was really nothing to just edit about. Now, the next part is the Road Stage history. I just got to edit the part with the Road Stage and explain about what the Road Stage is. And we just move on from there. And then after that, I type in the long, tangent, confusing, aggravating, horrible storyline between Mississauga and Willowdale. Yay! That's gonna be that's gonna be a fun part of the video that I do not want to really look into. But why the hell not, right? So that's gonna be fun. So that's gonna be fun. I was trying to type up a little bit of it, but I'm like, yeah, there's so much to talk about this video. Like, you know. I hope you guys ready for another tangent in the video, because that's what we're going to bring to the table, another tangent. So I hope you guys like tangents, actually, and rants and other stupid stuff. Okay, anyway, so I came across this video. Actually, and let's talk about a good, perfect timing here, good sir. So before we end out tonight, let's watch one more video. So, for those who haven't heard today, McDonald's is now selling the McDonaldlands Happy Meals. Of course, you can get a shake, which I guarantee you that the shake will be out by the time you get there. But you get some McDonaldlands. So this is what you meant by Chile earlier. I think so. I think so. Oh wait, wrong topic. Okay, cheddar. No, I'll still mention Chile though. I'll still mention Chile, but don't worry. That's coming in the video, buddy. That's coming in the video. Just. I don't think you're ready for this, friend. Maybe I'll record it, Maybe I'll not record. Maybe I'll go live as I record me going on this rant. That'd be so much fun to do. Actually, I know you guys will like that idea. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, like I was saying, so today McDonald's they released the McDonald's Happy Meal. Um, Actually, it's from that location. You're right, dude. See, look, it's from that location. So yeah, you're right. It's hard to see, I know, the brightness and stuff, but yeah, you're right, it is. Anyway, as I was saying, so as of today, for the third time, that McDonald's is selling their McDonald's Land Happy Meal, which you can get a burger, some 6 Peak McNuggets, and of course some McDonald's Land trading cards of the old McDonald's Land characters. Anyway, who in here in the chat remember the time, and oh my god, you're looking at the thumbnail, but who remembers the mini series, The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald? Who in the chat remembers seeing it, whether you grew up watching it on the VHSs, or you remember watching it on YouTube? Who in the chat remembers that iconic animated series that was released by McDonald's years ago? These were the same people direct the video series. I saw a bit of it online. Yes. And a little fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, that the animators, the company that actually made it, were the same people that made the Rugrats, All Grown Up, Wild Thornberry. It was rumored, I guess. No, it actually wasn't. It was true known fact that it was on Nickelodeon, but yeah, I got taken off very fast. Anyway, so I came across this on YouTube before I was switching over to the chat on the phone. Ronald McDonald's Bizarre Animated Series. This is about 51 minutes long. Jesus Christ. Let's hope. Yeah, you're gonna die after this. But anyway, this is 51 minutes long. So what about we take a trip to this bizarre series and take a trip down memory lane? I swear to God, if we go into depth with so many of these freaking episodes, I am going to scream out loud, and I feel like we're going to do that right now. But anyway, that's besides the point. McDonald Land. Because, today's a great day to be at McDonald Land. Oh my God, you freaking ad. Oh my God, you freaking ad. What are you doing here, ad? Why are you...
In a whirlpool. So every...
Yep, he's going in depth with the episodes. Y'all, there's no turning back.
Imagine being able to build an
Oh my God.
just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform.
Cheddar, guess what? There's no going back. It was either that or the topic
In
again.
1971, McDonald's began their marketing campaign known
Let's go,
as
soldier.
McDonald Land.
Get yourself ready for a trip to McDonald's Land.
Which has gone on to become one of the most memorable ad campaigns, and also one of the most successful. Naturally, the commercials would star McDonald's main guy, Ronald McDonald, in a world full of McDonald menu items. But they also added a bunch of new characters to the McDonald's universe. You had characters like Grimace, the Hamburglar, Mayor McCheese, Birdie, Captain Crook, the Professor, and the Wastebaskets. All of those being iconic characters to the MCU, the McDonald Land Cinematic Universe. And from the early 90s to the early 2000s, McDonald's began to do something weird with their McDonald Land universe and characters. They dabbled in direct-to-video animated episodes, starring their iconic characters. In all, 7 were released, but one of them was kind of like a one-off thing, but the 6 that came after that one were produced by the same company and were part of a series, The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald, and released over the span of 5 years.
Right.
And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about this really weird part of McDonald's history. So I'll begin the story with a question. What on earth was The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald?
An underrated series that nobody talks about anymore because nowadays, today's generations will never understand how much greatness, how much awesomeness, how much of a downfall this series will play to McDonald Land characters later on. You're welcome. I'll be here all week.
Well, like I said before, it was an animated series, but it wasn't like your regular cartoon show. You could only get it on VHS, in actual McDonald's locations, with the purchase of an ice cream or a small Coke. And if you got one of those, you could buy the tape for $3.49. Now, why was that the case? Why did it not air on, like,
TV? Well, I'm not entirely sure, but what I do know is that in 1992, Chester Cheetah, another mascot, was going to get his own TV series on Fox Kids, but that was canceled after it got a lot of backlash because people were concerned about it starring a mascot character, and people thought that it was going to be nothing more than an ad marketed solely to children. So I don't know for sure, but I could see the wacky adventures of Ronald McDonald.
Supposedly there was somewhere going around saying that the show was on Nickelodeon, and then people got confused because why they saw Ronald McDonald on Nickelodeon. I don't know if that's true or not.
Having a similar issue. Surprisingly, whenever the series was releasing, it was a lot more popular than expected, and the tapes were consistently sold out. The series was animated by Klasky Csupo, who are probably best known for making stuff like Rugrats, The Wild Thornberrys, and Ah Real Monsters. Some pretty iconic shows from the 90s. Each episode would follow Ronald and his friends from the McDonaldland series of advertisements, going on different adventures. There was actually another McDonald's animated episode that was sold in VHS form too, but it was just a one-off thing and had no relation to the wacky adventures of Ronald McDonald.
talk about
And that
that.
one was made by Deke. And the story told in that one is just Ronald and the gang thrown in the Treasure Island story. I think that's enough background to the series itself. There's not really much else to say, so I thought it would be fun if I took a look at each episode individually and talked about them. So let's get into that now. It's gonna be a long one, so grab your Big Mac, your Happy Meal, but don't you dare get Burger King.
No.
So why use Grammarly?
Alright, ad number
ChatGPT,
2.
where Grammarly
Jesus
works
Christ,
with
y'all.
writing suggestions versus something generic?
Yeah, Here we go. Episode 1. Scare Silly.
The first episode
This one I had on VHS as a
October
young
9th,
kid.
1998. And this first one here is kind of like a Halloween special, hence
It
the month
is.
it was released. The episode begins with live-action Ronald McDonald and his sarcastic dog Sunday, who looks friggin' creepy and would only ever appear in this series, watching a spooky show on TV, because the whole episode has a overarching spooky theme. And I mean, it's called Scared Silly. You can't get much more spooky than that. So while the two are watching their show, they get interrupted by a phone call on Ronald's picture phone, which is like a glorified Zoom call. So to answer the phone, like any...
Okay. So, hear me out, you guys. This series predicted Zoom. Okay, y'all, don't take this seriously. It's just a joke. Never mind.
any normal person would. Ronald slides down his pole, and
Pause.
this scene is edited bizarrely. Watch this.
That was stupid. He said it on purpose.
Calling on the picture phone is Tika, a character made up for the show, who invites Ronald, his friends, and his dog to go camping. So Ronald agrees.
Go for
and
it.
gets Tika to tell the gang to meet him at the car in 5 minutes. Then Grimace calls and talks about how everything on TV is spooky or something.
He went down that pole. Pause.
Baby dogs.
After that call, Ronald and Sunday then jump down their slide, which turns them into 2D animated characters and spits them.
Whoa, buddy. I think he's just saying these on purpose. I think he stopped pausing. But can we just hear that line one more time, you guys?
And monsters, baby dogs.
Looks better than the Chuck E. Cheese design, just saying.
After that call, Ronald and Sunday then jump down their slide, which
Jumps down their slide. Jesus Christ. I don't know what's worse, the pole or the slide joke. Like, come on, somebody help me out here.
turns them into 2D animated characters and spits them out at the car. And soon
What the-
after, all
what?
of Ronald's friends arrive, which was very fast. They were told like 3 minutes ago they were going camping. And this is just too many characters. You got Ronald, Sunday, Tika, Grimace, Birdie, the Hamburglar, the Fry Kids,
Who was showing on Boys and Fry Kids?
and then these 3 Nugget things. And I guess the car is alive too, so he kind of counts, but he doesn't really do anything other
Right.
than being sassy.
Hold on a minute, I'm carrying all of you? You're the car? Well, don't blame me when I sprain an axle.
So the gang hops in the car and drives to the far-flung forest for their camping trip. And on the way, Tika tells the crew about a spooky character who lives out in the forest, known as the Far-Flung Phantom. But Ronald shuts down the idea that such a creature could exist. And then everyone breaks out into an absolutely terrible song.
And swirls. It looks so books. And swirls. There's nothing like the great outdoors in the part one force of the best. Ronald, are we there?
So once the
Jesus.
gang gets to the far-flung forest, they try to find a place to set up camp, but they encounter a bear, and Ronald does some weird magic stuff to get rid of him. I'm a little concerned about the bear. What happened to him? Ronald probably
Billy
sent him
Bob?
to the worst place in the McDonald's universe. So after Ronald sends the bear to the nearest Burger King, him and the gang set
What?
up camp. With another song.
Oh Lord.
Set up camp.
They
I will
aren't
say
that great.
this
You're
one is
right.
not as irritating as the last one. So after
Some of them
the
are.
musical number and a prank by the Hamburglar, because he's just like that, it begins to rain. So the gang, or
I
what
feel
do I
like
call
some
this
of
group?
these
I
first
hate to
songs
say
from the
gang
first
and
episode aren't
group
that
every
great.
time. Maybe this collective. No, that sounds weird. I'll just make it up as I go. Anyways, this bevy head into this dilapidated mansion to get out of the rain. The same mansion that's said to be the home of the far-flung Phantom. And in the house, oh my lord, another musical number? Really? This
Bro,
may be
it's like
worse
they can break
than
it the
what
musical
thought.
numbers saying second.
So after a little exploration, the house is very clearly haunted, and the
Yeah, you'll say.
troop encountered this guy here, named Franklin. Not the name you would expect from someone that looks like this.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
anyways, Franklin here loves riddles.
'Cause it's a kid's
And
show.
to get to the next room, Ronald and the others must solve one. But the Fry kids fail the riddle, and they freaking die.
Yeet!
But the others move on to the next room.
They
then
die.
after a few more puzzles and another song,
Jesus Christ.
That's what we must do.
aha, very insightful, Ronald.
We're in a maze.
Wow.
You are. Good job. So after solving a bunch of small
Oh yeah,
Franklin gathers everyone together,
chicken
minus
nuggets
the Fry
died
kids,
too.
because they're dead, and he lets them all take turns at
And
guessing
she
riddles.
died.
And only Ronald
they
gets his
died.
right. But Grimace helps him out, so we'll call it a co-win. Now, once
Co-win.
Ronald actually gets his right, the shocked Franklin disappears to come up with what to do next, as he did not expect any of them to get theirs right. And with Franklin gone, Ronald has enough time to figure out that nothing in the mansion is real, and that it was all
No, they're
being
alive.
controlled by this kid. And for some reason, Tika and the Nugget things were helping him out.
Big Nugget.
They all just wanted to play a little prank on Ronald and the gang. So it turns out that the house, and all of the technology in it, is owned and created by Dr. Quizzical, who is the father of Franklin, and he is not happy with his son's pranking. So Franklin and Tika apologize, and everyone goes camping.
Wait a
like
second.
planned.
You
Now,
mean to tell
may
me they're
notice
both in
something
this?
here. I said that the Fry kids were dead, but here they are, so they can't be dead.
Right.
Wrong. This is the only episode they appear in, so I think they did die in that hole, and that these Fry kids are just more of Franklin's trickery, and he is hiding the fact that he caused their death. But that's just a theory.
No, okay, but let me talk about the Fry Kids actually, now that we're on the subject of this. I feel like they did the Fry Kids so dirty in this only one episode. Now, if you're like a real OG McDonald's Land fan, or you see like the old McDonald's commercials, you know that these creatures, these fuzzballs, fudging fuzzballs, been playing a huge part of McDonald's in history since the very beginning. They're called Fry Kids. Okay, they were called Goblins at one point, and then they renamed themselves the Fry Kids and Fry Guys, Fry Girls. They're the Fry Kids. Yes, the Fry Kids, the Fry Girls, the Fry Guys, the Goblins. So, like I said, they have been in the very beginning. And by the way, hence the name, Fry Kids. What they love to eat. McDonald's fries. I don't know if anybody noticed that name or not. Like hints, guys. Fry Kids, French fries. Does it ring a bell? Seriously, I will play some more McDonald's commercials with those Fry Kids in there. Just saying. I feel like the fuzzy Fry Kids, that's a good name, could have worked it better since they're full of fuzz in their designs. Yeah, and I feel like this is the only episode we get to see them. Like, okay, they've been in McDonald's Land's episode. I mean, the McDonald's Land's commercial since the very beginning as the Goblins. Now, the McNugget Buddies, like, okay, cool, but they've been there since the late 80s, and they get more shiny time in the whole episode. Hamburglar and Grimace been with McDonald's Land since the very beginning, too. Birdie was there during the early 80s. Tika's a new character, and Franklin is a new character. Sunday is a new character. Ronald been there since the very beginning. I don't think we're going to survive 51 minutes of this whole entire thing. I'm just saying tonight, but we'll see. Anyway, I love this episode, then I hate it too, because like this is the only episode where the Fry Kids are not, they're only featuring. After that, they're gone. Like there's no explanation like what happened to the Fry Kids. Other than that, it's the McNugget buddies, and that's it. And it's like, dude, what? Okay, I smell.
So back
They
to
die.
the episode. We then cut back to live action Ronald and Sunday,
Oh,
where the
boy.
latter is no longer afraid of the spooky dinosaur movie on TV due to him having Ronald with him. But little
Aw.
do they know, they are the spookiest thing in that room. And that
Right.
concludes that 40-minute episode. Yep, that was 40 minutes long, and every episode is 40
Aw.
minutes. So I watched
Hey, Ava.
4 hours of the wacky adventures of Ronald McDonald for this video. Actually, it was longer than that because I watched some episodes more than once. Oh, and at the end of this first episode, Ronald pops up to tease the next, and it is the worst teaser ever. It's just still images, and this image of Mr.
Right.
Grimace, who looks like he's been smoking something, is used 3 times in a row. They didn't have any other picture.
Episode 2, The Legend of Grimace Island. Okay, so little fun fact: as a young kid growing up, I had the first 2 episodes on VHS as a young kid. I remember having Scare Silly and The Legend of Grimace Island. I remember as a kid when these were still out, when VHSs were still a thing, crazy, right? So yeah, as a kid, I remember seeing these were the first 2 episodes of the show that I watched as a kid growing up. So amazing, isn't it? Night, Ava.
So the second episode, which released on January 22nd, 1999, begins with Sunday watching Ronald McDonald build a ship in a bottle. And this is a little something known as subtle foreshadowing, as this is going to be a pirate-themed episode. Very subtle. So Ronald's hobby
Oh,
soon
right, keep us on
interrupted
the
by
rest
a
of these
Zoom call from
episodes,
Grimace,
at
or
least.
a picture phone call from Grimace, who's telling Ronald about a letter he got from the Grimaces on Grimace Island, who
The
need
what?
Grimace's help for some unspecified task. And apparently Grimace will be rewarded with treasure if he helps. Also, I guess Grimace is a species, and
It
not
is.
his name. Well, I mean, it is his name, but it's also the species name. Kind of like a Pokemon, I guess. Anyways,
Yeah.
Ronald thinks that this is a great opportunity for another adventure. So he calls up his pals and tells them to meet him at the docks in 5 minutes.
Oh,
Ronald
Lord.
is the most impatient person ever. So Ronald and Sunday take the slide that is
Oh,
for
Lord.
some reason connected to the docks. And
Wow.
he takes his little ship in a bottle from
Yes, a
earlier
grimace
and
is a
throws
grimace.
it
A
into
munch
the
is a
sea, where it
munch.
becomes a regular
There's
sized
nothing else to
ship.
say,
Who knew
man.
Ronald was so magical. So Ronald's friends soon join him at the docks.
Remember,
This
Frank was in
pirate
this
fellow
episode.
here, Blather, overhears about the treasure, and he wants it. Also, the Nugget things think
Big
that
Nugget
pirates
buddies.
are cool, so they join Blather.
Pirate? You're a real life pirate? We want to be a pirate. We want to be a pirate.
So on the ship, as
Jesus.
Ronald and the gang sail to Grimace Island, Grimace gives us the lore breakdown for Grimace Island about how these guys, that Grimace refers to as mean people, steal the Grimace
sorry,
treasure.
what?
But it turns out they did not steal all of the treasure. So in an effort to protect the remaining treasure, the Grimaces stop and make the island break off from the ocean floor and drift aimlessly in the sea, so no one can ever find the island. It's then revealed that the pirate from earlier is working with another pirate who uses a submarine. Okay, sure. Who is stalking Ronald McDonald and his crew. And this pirate, who's named One-Eyed Sally, also reveals that she wrote the letter to Grimace so that he would lead her to Grimace Island
yeah.
so she can steal the treasure. Now back with Ronald and the crew. After another lame song, the Hamburglar almost falling overboard, and a whale encounter, Ronald and his gaggle get caught up in a storm, and Ronald gets thrown overboard after being struck by lightning.
He died!
Don't worry, he has a hang glider, and
Oh,
he
that's
glides
nice.
back in and lands on Grimace, who fell overboard too. Then in
Jesus.
a really weird and random transition scene, after Ronald lands on Grimace,
Guess what, guys?
Grimace turns into a surfboard. Hey, it ain't called The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald for nothing. So with Grimace now a surfboard, we get another musical.
You
number.
know it.
And this one isn't terrible, not good, Lord no, but it's not as bad as some of the other ones.
Look out, Grimace! Here she comes! Rock and roll! The serpent's fun!
When Ronald and Grimace stop surfing and get back on the boat, they soon encounter a kraken. And you know, this episode is called Legend of Grimace Island, and I'm starting to think that's all it is, a legend. Because it
Yeah.
seems like they're going to be stuck on this boat the whole time. So after escaping the kraken, the boat gets caught in a whirlpool, so everyone jumps for it. And I don't understand this at all. I either missed something, or this is just not explained. But somehow the whirlpool takes them to Grimace Island? What? So now that Ronald and his
I hate that animation
clump
so
of
much.
friends are on Grimace Island, they
Look at
get
all those
introduced to
grimaces.
the Grimaces on the island. Gosh, I'm gonna be saying Grimace a lot in this video.
I hate that. I hate
so
that.
the
I hate that
Grimaces
dance. I hate that
perform
dance so
a
much.
terrible music number, and the leader of the Grimaces, King Gunga, then tells the
Gunga.
others that he never sent a letter, leaving everyone confused. And that's when One-Eyed Sally reveals herself to them, and that she was the one who wrote the letter. And then she and Blather run off to go take the treasure. Also, the Nugget things quit their jobs and join Ronald again.
Bruh, what?
For a while ago. Let's quit. See you, Sally. All right.
These guys are kind of like antagonists. This is the second
That was
time
a
they've done something like this. Now, since it's kind of Grimace's fault that they're in this situation, he's the one that has to stop the pirates. So he learns the lesson for the episode, that he has to be brave, which I kind of thought was the main theme of the last episode. So
But I
Grimace,
guess not.
Ronald, and the others go to stop the pirates, but they get a cannon aimed at them and immediately surrender. They're then tied up and tortured, tickle-tortured, by Sally. And just as all hope seems to be lost, all of the other Grimaces, inspired by Grimace's bravery, come to save them.
Because they're black, by the way. What the hell?
And that's a big thing for the Grimaces, because all of them, the species as a whole, are very cowardly and a little dumb too.
Yeah,
so
that
now
too.
that the pirates are out,
Like Munch.
they surrender and run away. Then King Gunga thanks Grimace for his bravery and also gives him the treasure for his bravery, as no Grimace has ever been brave enough to earn it until now. So now everyone is ready to go back home. And to do that, Ronald whistles, and they are taken away by a bunch of butterflies carrying a basket. What
Awesome.
exactly are Ronald's powers? Can he do anything? He's the perfect character because you don't gotta worry about plot holes. If something
Yeah.
needs to happen, he can do it. Then we cut back to live action Ronald McDonald,
And
who,
Sunday.
along with the other characters in the friend group, watch some of Grimace's home videos from when he was younger, and the characters, minus Ronald, appear as really unconvincing shadows watching the movie. And that brings episode 2 to a close. Not really the storyline I was expecting. I was thinking we were going to spend more time on Grimace Island, but it was really just a pirate episode. But I did like this one more than the first. But it should have had
Exactly.
Captain Crook in it. Him not appearing is a little strange.
Yes.
Oh, Jimmy, there's Captain Crook blocking the bridge.
I love this ad. Ronald is genuinely annoyed at him.
You're not gonna believe
Oh,
what happened.
speaking of ad, come on, man.
I'll show you on Monday.com. So I started the biggest initiative of
Oops, my bad. Episode 3. The Visitors from Outer Space!
Third episode released on April 23rd, 1999. And it begins with Ronald and Sunday in live action form once again,
Of
reading
course.
the daily newspaper where they talk about how all of the news is fake. And then Sunday reveals that he's a bit of a conspiracy theorist.
Believe what you want, Ronald, but there's a world beyond our doors where strange and mysterious forces exist.
And Sunday saying this leads to the main theme
So,
of the
okay,
episode.
so basically,
aliens.
oh my
So
fucking god. I hate this mouse. So anyway, I just want to say right here, the first 3 episodes of the Ron McDonald, Rocky Adventure from Ron McDonald, actually does take place live action. And then the other 3 are like live action as well, but you will not see Sunday that much throughout the show. Oh shit, my bad. I just want to point that out there. That the first 3 episodes are live action with these 2, and then the other one is basically like a recap of the episodes that happened, but in a way, I guess, I don't know.
Sunday asks if Ronald believes in them.
Well, of course I believe in aliens. That's why I have the map.
This is the funniest moment so far. The way Ronald says that, I thought he was going to try and get me to join a cult or something. And the map is some
The
sort of
mouse is being
special relic
retarded.
of the cult. He says it so seriously, too.
Well, of course I believe in aliens. That's why I have the map.
The
Oh, I
what?
shouldn't have got him started again. Map actually stands for McDonald Land Alien Action Plan.
I
And it's
knew
just
that.
a guide as to what to do if any alien is ever sighted in McDonald Land. And in perfect timing, a little too perfect if you ask me, the Hamburglar calls, stating he has seen aliens. So Ronald, overjoyed at this, pulls
That's
the
literally
lever,
me whenever
sound of the
fucking
alien
drama
siren,
CC.
which calls all of Ronald's friends together. The first summoned is Grimace, who is getting a body fur.
Body fur,
Then
yeah.
the next to be called are the Nugget things.
Nugget
who are in
thing.
the middle of a dance. Then it cuts to Birdie, who is doing some kind of martial arts lesson. as she hears the siren and leaves. Then Ronald and Sunday jump down their slide that takes
Jesus.
them into the 2D world and use it to get to McDonald Land Square. So Ronald, Sunday, and all
This the only
characters on
episode where the
journey
kids are involved.
arrive at the town square, and they sing a little song to the aliens for some reason. Had to reach that musical number quota, I suppose. But it turns out the Hamburglar lied about there being aliens, and that's just someone like him to do something like that. Turns out, the Hamburglar just wanted the others to be distracted while he stole all the burgers in McDonald Land, which was a stupid plan. No one was even near him. Why would you call everyone to where you're stealing the burgers from? I guess if you want to keep an eye on him while you do it, that makes sense, but it's a little too risky. And when he's caught, no one really cares that he was stealing or that he lied, which, Ronald, that's only going to encourage this kind of behavior. You need to throw him in the Mick prison. So with the
Mick
Hamburglar's
prison.
plan foiled, the other characters take his stolen goods and return them. And while they do that, the Hamburglar goes off on his own, where an actual real alien attempts to abduct him. So the Hamburglar tries to call Ronald for help, but he doesn't believe him because he lied earlier. So after chasing the Hamburglar for a bit, the alien reveals himself, and his name is Org. And he apparently does not want to kidnap the Hamburglar. I don't know what all that chasing was about.
My name is Org. Are you the leader of this planet? Yeah, I'm the Hamburglar, and this is the Hamburglar name.
But the Hamburglar lies to Org. He's got a problem with that, apparently. And then he and the alien get up to some mischief together. And that entails giving all of McDonald Land this stripe pattern. The same one the Hamburglar wears. When Ronald and his, flock confront the Hamburglar about the stripe shenanigans, and them being caused by either him or aliens, the Hamburglar denies the existence of aliens, but immediately when he says
Exactly.
that, a large UFO arrives in McDonald Land. And it turns out the ones in the UFO are Org's parents, as
Jesus
they are
Christ.
supposed to be going on a vacation, but Org ran off. Once the two aliens find their child, Org asks if the Hamburglar can come with them, to which the parent aliens say yes, and the Hamburglar, for some reason, agrees to go as well, but he quickly regrets his decision when he learns that the vacation is going to last for 3,000 years.
Which is 3,000 of your Earth years.
What?
So with the Hamburglar taken, Ronald wants to save him, but the other characters are kind of happy he's gone.
Damn.
But after another song, they realize something. McDonald Land without the Hamburglar just would not be the same.
This is what he deserves.
But with him gone, it's no.
No, we're stuck in this long.
So
What
they
the
go
heck?
to the local playground, where Ronald climbs
Gertrude
this
be a
thing,
sex bot?
jumps down the middle, and it turns into a rocket ship.
Oh,
How do you
he
even
said
come up with
what?
that? Now Ronald Land without the Hamburglar just would not be the same.
This is what he deserves.
But with him gone, it's no.
No, we're stuck in this long.
Is he trying to be a sex model? I'm just saying, look at his position. Like, what?
So they go to the local playground, where Ronald climbs this thing, jumps down the middle, and it turns into a
Oh,
rocket
okay, never
ship.
mind.
How do you even come up with that? Now Ronald and the others have a way of getting into space. So they blast off and catch up with the aliens, and the Hamburglar is very happy to see them. But, oh no, Org decides that he wants to mess around with them. And he shoots marshmallow cream, chocolate, or caramel, I can't really tell, and sprinkles at Ronald's ship. I don't think that would
Whoa.
work in actual space.
I knew it. His life after McDonald's was so great.
I don't know why I said it like that. I know it wouldn't work. As
Dude, we're like 19 minutes in this thing. How many? Okay.
Ronald's rocket gives chase to the UFO, we get another song, this one about how the Hamburglar wants to be rescued.
Rescue me, 'cause that's what I'm for. Rescue me, it's not anymore.
After that, Grimace, being the intellectual creature that he
Obviously.
is, decides to push a random button in the rocket that sends him out into the void of space. So Ronald, of course, has to go save him. Now,
Of
once
course.
he does save him, the two land back on the rocket, which is still a mess from earlier. So to clean up the mess on the rocket, Ronald does one of his famous
Yep.
whistles to summon whatever this is.
What is
and this
that?
guy licks all of the stuff off the rocket. Now, I'm not
Pause.
sure what this creature is. Apparently it just lives in space. Surprisingly, this is actually a McDonald's character.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
has
true.
appeared in commercials before. His name seems to be I Am Hungry.
I know, I am hungry.
Oh, that's his name.
Back on Org's UFO, the Hamburglar,
That's
who
not
is
reference.
desperate to
The only
escape
reference that
as
you'll
much as
probably
he
catch
can,
so far in this
presses
video.
a random button. Him and Grimace have that in common. And he ejects these eggplant-looking things, which crash into these planets or moons, whatever they are, and the creatures living on them begin to have a food fight with each other. This series really is nonsensical, isn't it?
It
And
is.
Org's UFO is damaged after being caught in the crossfire of the food fight. So Ronald, of course, does not want his ship to be damaged. So he does what he does best. He sings another song.
Oh
and
my
this
God.
song is so good that the food fight stops.
Really?
What's that rhythm? What's that groove? Just can't help it. I gotta move. Huh.
And since
Whoa, whoa, whoa. When did Ronald have those vocal pipes? Hold up. Okay, Ronald, I see you. 21 minutes in.
Org's UFO is busted, he, his parents, and the Hamburglar catch a ride on Ronald's rocket, saving the Hamburglar. And now with the Hamburglar saved, he apologizes to the others about his lying and stealing earlier. But oh no, a new problem arises. Ronald's playground rocket can't hold all the extra weight. But luckily they have just enough power to land without crashing. So the aliens are able to go have their vacation, while Ronald and the gang go back home. Then we cut to Ronald and Sunday back home in live action form. And as the two get ready for bed, the Hamburglar calls once again to apologize for lying. And after ending the call, Ronald teaches Sunday the difference between lying and teasing. And that also goes with the main lesson of the episode. Don't lie. But I think the lesson should be don't get in a stranger's vehicle. Even if it's a UFO, they may be cool, but they're not safe.
Ronald, I was teasing. Dogs, space, not a good thing.
Exacto mundo. Why did he say that? So now we're at the halfway part of the series, and the episodes going forward had some changes to the formula. Most notably, Ronald got a new actor to voice him and
Oh, yeah.
play him in live action.
Got a new actor,
Before
too.
he was played by Jack Doty, but going forward he was portrayed by David Hussey. Also, a new intro was made, with Hussey performing as Ronald. Also, Sunday the dog would no longer appear in live action. He would only appear in the 2D parts.
Woohoo! Episode 4, Birthday World.
Episode 4.
Oh yeah, and Franklin Tika comes back into this episode for some odd reason, so that's pretty great too, by the way. So you mean to tell me Tika was in episode 1, got out, Franklin was in episode 1 and 2, and then he was in episode 3 and episode 4, they're back together? Man, this is some slimy stuff going on in here, and my boys, the Fry Kids, ain't even back in the series. Shady.
On February 23rd, 2001, about 2 years after the last episode. And here we get introduced to the new intro for the show, which is a lot more zany, I would say, than the previous one. Maybe wacky would be the right word. The old one was more focused on Ronald's house and his wacky inventions in it, but this one is more so focused on Ronald's dancing and song performance, as he is the one singing it this time. It's also just overall more energetic, and gives you a good feel as to what the show's gonna be like. It's also pretty catchy.
Thank you.
Come on, everybody. The wacky adventures of Ronald McDonald.
I don't care what anyone says. Episode 4 to 6 intro was so much better than episode 1 through 3. And I don't care what anyone says. I love it. I love David Hussey's intro. That was so much better, so much energetic. It gave a new life into the show. I wish they continue on, but sadly didn't.
The actual episode begins with Ronald upside down, as he tells the viewer about a gift he got for his birthday, anti-gravity shoes.
That's one small step for me, one giant leap for Cloud Kai!
After messing around with them for a bit, he wants his old shoes back, which he just can't seem to find. So he goes around his house looking for them like he's never been in his house before. He's distracted by everything. But he
Oh,
does
yeah, that
eventually
scene.
find them. And he begins the animated segment for the episode, in a new way this time. Before, the episodes would cut to the animated parts after Ronald and Sunday jump down their slide. But here
Pause.
the animated segments are more so just used as Ronald showing something that already happened. So live action Ronald has already lived through all this. Which
Right.
does make more sense. Him going down the slide was kind of weird. Anyways, the animated part begins with Ronald walking in the park, wondering where everyone is. And then it cuts to everyone, minus Ronald, singing a song about how it's his birthday and how they're gonna throw him a party.
It's a birthday, yeah, nothing I can bring.
But there's one issue. The Hamburglar forgot, so he has no gift to give. So the Hamburglar is sad about that, which is stupid because he has time right now to go get something. But I guess he would rather just sit around moping. Lucky for the Hamburglar, though, a gift comes to him. This creepy scientist dude named Thaddeus J. Pinchworm sees him. And Pinchworm gives the Hamburglar free tickets to Birthday World, which is a theme park.
I present you with free tickets. Free tickets.
but I'm sure there's nothing nefarious going on with that. Then we cut to Ronald at his birthday party, which Grimace ruined the surprise part, and everyone gives Ronald their gifts. And these presents are terrible. I know it's the thought that counts or whatever, but I mean, come on. Birdie gives Ronald a nest tree hat thing. Grimace wrote a poem. Tika got him some silly glasses. Franklin got Ronald an action figure that looks like him. That's kind of cool. Sunday gives him a dog bowl, which... what's he gonna do with that? And then the nugget things made a dance for him. See, the Hamburglar had nothing to worry about. He could have brought Ronald like a burger he stole. No one would have even batted an eye. But no, Hamburglar had to be all extra. And he got everyone something. That being the tickets to Birthday World, which no one knows what that place even is. But Ronald is still happy.
Birthday World, that's great!
Look at everybody in the squad.
I never heard of it. So everyone walks like a burger he stole. No one would have even batted an eye what that place even is. But Ronald is still happy.
Why is everybody in the squad look so confused and lost? Like, where is that place even at? And Ronald has to be the only one to be the one hype up in the group. Oh my god. Especially look at Birdie's face. Look at Birdie's face. She is so lost of words right now. Like, oh man. This is Tyler's classic. I love this episode.
Birthday World, that's great! What do you think, Kay?
I never heard of it. So everyone walks to the park. No car, huh? Once they arrive, they are greeted by Pinchworm, who doesn't even try to hide the fact that he's crazy. And he excitedly, a little too much so, lets them into the park. Which looks terrible, by the way. I see one roller coaster, a carousel, and a Ferris wheel. But Ronald and the rest of the party are amazed by the place. That amazement is short-lived, though, as the door closes behind them, trapping them in Birthday World. And surprisingly, no one is really worried they're trapped, and they decide they'll just go and try all the rides, in the form of another musical number.
Even the ad said forget the song musical numbers.
But every ride sucks, and Ronald and the faction are disappointed. But before they are disappointed enough to leave, or attempt to leave, Pinchworm lures them into one more ride with solid steel restraints. So now everyone is trapped. Pinchworm then reveals himself to be evil. Oh no. Who would have ever thought as much? Certainly not me. As the ride begins, another song is sung, and this may be the worst so far. I'm pretty much numb to these terrible songs by now, but this one is especially bad.
Lies! This is the good musical number. I don't know what you're talking about.
After both the song and ride come to an end, Pinchworm's evil plan is revealed. He wanted to turn Ronald and the gang into little kids. That's a weird plan. And since Franklin and Tika were already kids, they get turned into babies. And now everyone is on the run from Pinchworm, who sends his robot dog after them. But luckily for Ronald, they can use Pinchworm's theme park attractions against the dog, and are able to escape. Then after a bit more running, Ronald and the gang are... I've given up on trying to find synonyms for group or gang, and I just don't really care anymore. The synonyms on this website I'm using don't even make sense. I mean, Ronald and his clot? What? Anyway, so Ronald and his clot run away, with Pinchworm right behind them, and, oh no, they come to a dead end. So Ronald uses some pepper that Grimace has on him for some reason, to make this cloud sneeze so that it will start raining, which in turn will make a hedge maze grow at the dead end, so they can get away from Pinchworm. I don't know how Ronald knew that would happen, but he has done weirder. Like right now, for example. Once Pinchworm finds his way to the end of the maze, Ronald and the gang are once again cornered. But Ronald whistles and brings this hedge sculpture to life, and it chases off Pinchworm. So once more, Ronald and the gang take off running, which they do a lot in this episode, and the Hamburglar leads them somewhere to hide. But unbeknownst to the Hamburglar, it was a trap, and Pinchworm now has them captured. Now that he has them, Pinchworm reveals his full evil plan. He wants to turn the entire world into babies. Why, you ask? So, everyone would do what he says or something? I don't really understand it. He just has a thing for telling others what to do. So with Pinchworm's plan put into motion, the baby characters, minus Ronald, wander into Pinchworm's traps, and Ronald has to save them. And him saving them is, of course, done through the use of another musical scene. So now with Ronald and the gang freed, Sunday sniffs and tracks down Pinchworm, who is about to turn the whole world into a, and I quote, bevy of babies, which is a weird choice of words because I used bevy earlier in this video. Flashback, please. Anyways, this bevy head into this dilapidated
Yeah, he did. He did.
Okay, back to the recap. I was just very surprised to hear the word Bevy used, as that is not a common word at all. So with Pinchworm about to turn the world into babies, Ronald uses the only items he has on him, that being the gifts he got earlier, to stop him and send him tumbling into a vat of goo. I guess they were good for something. But Franklin and Tika, being the dumb babies they are, screw up the plan, and now Pinchworm has captured everyone again, except the Hamburglar. So the Hamburglar, with the world resting in his tiny hands, uses the Ronald McDonald action figure, which he uses as a gun, to shoot Pinchworm's baby ray, destroying it and turning everyone back to normal. But Pinchworm is turned into a baby, and presumably his robotic dog chases him down and mauls him to death. So all's well that ends well. And Ronald and the gang get to celebrate Ronald's birthday correctly, and the Hamburglar learns that Ronald did not even need a gift.
I mean, I didn't exactly get you a great present.
Ah, Hamburglar, the best birthdays are when you get to spend time with friends. And that's just what happened here today.
Then we cut back to Ronald McDonald in live-action form, who has one more gift to open, and it's from King Gunga. What? Remember that guy, King of the Grimaces? And he got Ronald a surfboard. Heck yeah. So Ronald proceeds to surf on this terrible-looking ocean background, bringing an end to the episode, but not ending the tape quite yet, as Ronald teases their next adventure, and he is way too high.
Jesus Christ. Oh shit, too added.
Hyper here.
Take a peek at some of the other adventures we have in store for you. Wacky!
Bro!
I think Ronald's been doing some McDrugs. And that brings an end to episode 4. This one definitely had the highest stakes so far. The whole world was in danger, which is a much bigger threat than Hamburglar going on vacation for 3,000 years, or Grimace Island's treasure being stolen.
Okay, episode 5. Had Time Will Travel. I like this episode too.
Alright, now let's get into the series' penultimate episode, which released on October 19th, 2001. And this one begins with Ronald in quite the precarious situation. He's about to fall to his death, because for some reason he's hanging onto this clock. When he sees us, the viewer, he tells us that he is resetting the clock, and it turns out Ronald is just playing around, or he's been taking the mixed stuff again. Because the clock is actually not high off the ground, but just barely raised off the ground in his house. Ronald then, being the hyperactive clown that he is, holds a mock interview with himself.
Do you have a favorite time? That's a good question, Ronald. Let's see. I like a good time. I'm particularly fond of
That's right, Cheddar.
We're out of time.
We also call it Corona Key. Well, let's call it a green screen because the name is not important.
Mess around a little bit more. So he shows us his clock collection, and tells us that each of them are set to remind him of different things, like feed the fish and read Grimace a bedtime story. Ronald has almost certainly been taking that mixed stuff again because he then begins to juggle the clocks. Then finally, he gets today's story started. It begins with Ronald and his friends messing around at the McDonald Land playground, where Ronald tells the others that he wants to go on another adventure. He just loves those things. But they don't really have any concrete ideas for what this adventure should entail, so they head over to Franklin's place to see what they come up with, and to take Franklin on the adventure with them too. But Franklin has some chores that need to be done, so he can't come with them on an adventure. But never fear, Ronald and the gang are here to help him out. And you know, I have a certain feeling, like there's about to be a song. Oh, I knew it.
Oh my god.
While cleaning, Sunday accidentally unlocks Dr. Quizzical's time machine, and everyone is very interested in it, particularly the Hamburglar, who wants to jump ahead in time so their chores will be done.
We could jump a few hours into the future and have all the chores behind us.
So even though Franklin tells no one to touch anything, the Hamburglar presses a random button, and it sends everyone back to dinosaur times. And to give the episode a little drama, this dinosaur eats the time machine, so they have no way of getting back home. But they don't have time to freak out about that, because Ronald and the gang find something weird. They find their primitive relatives.
Nice to meet you, Rumful McDumful. I'm Ronald McDonald.
Now you would think they would be freaking out about the fact they have no way home, but Ronald isn't too worried.
Let's get out of here.
Not so fast.
And begins to sing a song, which soon everyone joins in on.
We're not so different after all.
We're both big.
We're both small.
We're both short. Then after the song, Franklin, being the only sensible one, reminds them about the whole time machine issue, but they can't ignore it for too long. As it soon comes to them, the dinosaur comes to the cave that Ronald and the gang are in, and after learning that the dinosaur likes burgers, Ronald has either the worst or best plan ever.
No, Rumful, we need this.
He takes the last burger that they have and uses an air pump to blow it up. Then he and the gang climb in the burger and get the dinosaur to eat them, or I guess swallow them whole. They're lucky that the dinosaur does not like to chew. So now that the gang are swallowed and inside of the dinosaur, they find the time machine, and Ronald takes a look inside to try and find the button that'll take him home. But Grimace, being his usual self, decides to push a random button. And this time, the gang gets sent back to medieval times, where Birdie, after wanting to introduce herself to some knights, gets captured by them. And stuffed
That's you get.
Knight Satchel, my favorite
Yeah.
Knight Satchel, and the knights carry her off to the kingdom.
You know what? That's what she gets. That's what you get for coming out and making a name for yourself. I don't care what anyone says. Hear that one more time.
Random button. And this time, the gang gets sent back to medieval times, where Birdie, after wanting to introduce herself to some knights, gets captured by them.
Yeah, that's what you get. Snatching helpless birdies. Oh my god. Yes, snatching helpless birdies. One more time, please.
The gang gets sent back to medieval times, where Birdie, after wanting to introduce herself to some knights, gets captured by them. And stuffed into this knight's satchel, must be a very big satchel, and the knights carry her off to the king. So once more, Ronald whistles and calls up a few
Snatching
horses
helpless
to his friend.
birdies.
Then they ride off to the castle to save
It's sometimes
Birdie.
hard what
At the
she says
castle,
'cause you
the
are
knights
speaking
drop
a
off
lot.
Birdie in the kitchen, where the chef reveals his plan to make her into a pie
Whoa.
and serve it to the king. But after she does a little parkour, she tells the knights and chef that instead of being cooked and served to the king to cheer him up, because apparently he's grumpy all the time, she proposes that she could sing a song to the king and cheer him up. The knights and chef are like, yeah, sure, whatever. So she goes to the king and sings her terrible song.
It's bad that you're always so sad, or maybe it's just that you're mad.
See, the people don't like her singing.
Yeah, you would think I was a killer.
Okay, Ronald, like you haven't been singing terrible stuff this entire series. So the king seems to agree
That
with
man's
Ronald that the
stupid.
song is pretty bad. So he sends Birdie to
really
the dungeon
said-
after watching this take place to the king and sings her terrible
This
song.
nigga really
It's
said-
bad that you're always so sad, or maybe it's just that you're mad.
Birdie, this is terrible.
Yeah, you would think I was a killer.
Wow, the script writing was so great. You just gotta love the brutal honesty. Talking about Birdie, this is terrible. Yeah, she could never carry a tune. Like, is that fourth wall? Oh no, it's not. That script writing was amazing.
Okay, Ronald, like you haven't been singing terrible stuff this entire series. So
Right.
the king seems to agree with Ronald that her song is pretty bad, so he sends Birdie to the dungeon. After watching this take place, Ronald makes a plan. The Hamburglar will go to the dungeon, see if he can get Birdie out, while
amazing.
Ronald and the others will serve as a distraction.
Yeah.
In front of the king, Ronald goes back to his true nature as a clown, and he performs a
wait,
little
what?
song
What?
and dance
What?
number with Sunday, Franklin, and Grimace. Surprisingly, the king actually likes the performance,
Oh, that's
and
good.
it almost works, but Ronald chokes at the end. He gets so into the song, he builds this tower of people, and it falls down on the king and takes
He's
his
naked.
clothes clean off. So Ronald and the gang are sent to the dungeon with Birdie. Also, the Hamburglar fumbles his mission and gets thrown down there too. So now everyone is in the dungeon, and to get out of the situation, Ronald does what may be his most insane thing yet. He walks around the room, and as he walks, the room changes positions with him. So he tries to walk on the walls, and the room physically turns to allow him to do this. And I would like to know how this works. Is it just this room? Does the whole world move with him? So with the entire room turned, Ronald and the gang can easily reach the exit. They used to be on top of the dungeon room, and they run all the way back to the time machine. This time Franklin takes control of it, and he accidentally sends them to the Wild West. And there never being a dull moment wherever they go, the townsfolk begin to chase after Ronald and the gang, shouting about catching some sort of burger thief. After running away from the townsfolk, the gang learns why they're being chased. The Hamburglar's great-great-grandfather stole some burgers from the town, and he looks just like his great-great-grandson. So the townspeople think they're one and the same. Ronald and the gang then run right back to the time machine. They did not spend a lot of time there, and Ronald comes up with the dumbest plan ever. Since all of the buttons they have pressed so far
Your workflow
Ah, come on, they ain't touched you yet.
wait indefinitely.
With Monday.com's intuitive work management,
have not taken them home to McDonald Land, Ronald takes this button pin thing that he has on his shirt of the McDonald's logo and sticks it into the machine. Then he presses the makeshift button. Now I want you to take a guess as to where and when this is going to take them. Will it be A, the year 3000? Will it be B, back home at the right time period? Will it be C, a disco in the 1970s? Or will it be D, World War II?
For some reason.
The correct answer is the disco in the 1970s, which is kind of random, but I assume that was the year chosen because that's when the McDonaldland ad campaign began. Also, Mayor McCheese is here, getting groovy at the disco, which is fitting for him being a politician, not doing his job.
Right.
Get good, Mayor.
Back in the time machine.
Okay.
Instead of pressing the makeshift button again, Ronald turns it. And finally, everyone is sent back home and at the correct time period. Kind of. They messed up a little bit and arrived at the time before they cleaned up the lab. So they have to do it all again with another song.
Cleaning up the lab, we're cleaning up the lab.
Jesus
And
Christ.
Ronald kind of cheats because they almost don't finish before Dr. Quizzical gets home. So he blows and cleans up everything.
Which he said
Why
in the
didn't he
beginning.
do that before? Then all is well. They did their chores and they had their adventure. We then cut back to live action Ronald, who tells us the lesson for the episode.
One thing I learned from today's adventure is, if you look for the easy way out, it usually ends up being harder than you think.
And I don't really think that's a good lesson. I get what it's trying to say, but that is almost always going to vary depending on whatever the task is you're referring to.
Right.
A better lesson would have been don't touch stuff that's not yours. Or do your chores, then you can have free time. Unless you work all the time and you get no free time. Then after realizing there is a knight in his house for some reason, Ronald closes out the episode. This one is probably my favorite so far. I like how they don't spend too long in one location and doing one thing. Like last episode was all at the theme park, and they were just constantly running away from Pinchworm. It got a little bit old. But this one felt like a bunch of episode ideas combined into one.
Alright, episode 5. Okay, I want to talk about episode 5. The Monster of McDonaldland Lurch. So this one actually wasn't released on VHS. Surprisingly. This one was not released on VHS. Wait a second, what do you mean episode 5? I think there's more episodes than that. But anyway, yeah, this one was not released on VHS. This one, I don't know if you're going to mention it or not. This one was a Lost Media episode. Yes, the one that got Lost Media for many years, exactly. So literally, this was supposed to be the last episode of the series, but it never got produced to the stores for I guess for unknown reasons. And after that, it became Lost Media for so many years. Snippets pop up here and there. So there was 6 episodes, and this last one was the last one that no one really kind of heard about. It's crazy. But now, it's out in the public. Awesome.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the final episode of the series, and it released on January 30th, 2003. Now this one is a little special, as from my understanding, it was not sold in McDonald's locations like the other tapes were. This one was sold on the CoolTunes.com website, and
Yeah.
it was available for purchase for 2 years. And for some reason, no one had it. I don't know if it was just because it wasn't marketed well, no one knew you had to go to that website to buy it, but one way or another, it was rare, so rare, that for several years it was considered lost media. But after a long wait, the full thing was uploaded to YouTube in September of 2015. So let's talk about it. This episode begins with Ronald playing a bagpipe that he says he got from McDonaldland Lock, and then whatever this is happens. Ronald wastes no time this time and begins his story about how he and the gang apparently found a monster. The animated segment begins with Ronald in the park as he meets up with his friends, and Sunday reveals that he got a letter from his favorite cousin, Scotty the Terrier, who lives in McDonaldland Lock, and Scotty wants Sunday to come visit. So Ronald, as you know, being one who will never turn down an activity, does a little whistle once more and summons a character we haven't seen in quite some time, the Car.
The Car!
Heck yeah, love that guy, and his 2 lines from 5 episodes ago.
But we're off to McDonaldland Lock.
Am I crazy, or did he say McDonaldland really weirdly? Probably should have did a retake on that one. So Ronald and the gang, which includes the Nugget things this time, as they were absent last episode, hop in the
Jesus.
car, and they drive to McDonald Land Lock. As the gang drives, they sing a song.
I've seen this one
Driving in the
before too,
car,
actually.
Getting flashbacks to episode 1. After the song, Birdie accidentally reveals some things that she was told to keep a secret by the Hamburglar and Grimace.
If you have anything you want to keep quiet, don't tell Birdie. You sleep with a teddy bear. You got a teddy bear? Mr. Tough. What's his name? I'm a bad excuse for a secret keeper.
This may seem random, but it will make sense later. Sunday then reads some of his brochure about McDonald Land Lock, and he reads about how there's a monster that lives there. Ronald then expands on this, saying he's heard there's a large sea serpent that lives there, and that no one has been able to prove it's real. No one in the car really believes in it, except for Birdie, so the Hamburglar insults her for believing in it.
I believe in that sea monster. And I believe you're one patty short of a Big Mac.
Once the car arrives at the lake, he kicks everyone out of him because he does not want to get wet.
Okay, guys, end of the line. Thanks for riding Ronald's car. Have a nice day.
Once the car arrives at
And I believe you're one patty short of a Big Mac.
This man really? Wait. Hold up. What did he say?
Believe in that sea monster. And I believe you're one patty short of a Big Mac.
This program contains product placements. Ladies and gentlemen, we just heard the line of a McDonald's item, a Big Mac, in the series. God bless this amazing series. I love the script writing. Who did the script writing? The script writing did so well.
prove it's real. No one in the car really believes in it, except for Birdie, so the Hamburglar insults her for
That's how you know they did
I
great.
believe in that sea monster. And I believe you're one patty short of a Big Mac.
Once the car arrives at the lake, he kicks everyone out of him because he does not want to get wet.
Ladies and gentlemen, they got away with this. Now imagine this was actually released too in the stores and people heard about this joke. Aw man, I don't know why I didn't get released.
Sunday then reads some of his
This
brochure
script writing
about
was so
McDonald
great.
Land Law,
Whoever wrote
and he
this
reads
line's
about how
amazing.
there's a monster that lives there. Ronald then expands on this, saying he's heard there's a large sea serpent that lives there, and that no one has been able to prove it's real. No one in the car really believes in it, except for Birdie, so the Hamburglar insults her for
What's up,
believing in
Ethan?
it.
I believe in that sea monster. And I believe you're one patty short of a Big Mac.
Once the car arrives at the lake, he kicks everyone out of him because he does not want to get wet.
Okay, guys, end of the line. Thanks for riding Ronald's car. Have a nice day.
That's a good way to kick someone out.
This game, you're not ready.
But Ronald bribes the car with buying him new headlights, so the car changes his mind, lets
I swear to God, I think Ronald just finessed that car, cause ain't no way you're gonna tell that car, yeah, you're gonna get some new headlights. Man, don't you lie to him.
everyone back inside him, and Ronald pulls a lever, turning the car into a boat-car hybrid thing. And
What?
as the car rides the water, the gang sings about what it would be like if monsters were real.
Monsters were real, I'd say if I said, if you see what don't tell me, till Ronald instead.
What?
Then once they get across the water, they arrive at Scotty's house, who welcomes them to McDonald Land Lock. And
Oh,
as
look
Sunday
familiar.
introduces his friends to Scotty, out of the house comes these two guys, Styles and Pip, who Scotty is getting to build a statue of his great-great-great-grandfather.
I commissioned him to make a statue of our great-great-great-grandfather. Pleased to meet you both. You know, I'd love to sit down and talk with you about art.
And Ronald, being a bit of an artist, inventor himself, wants to see the guy's progress, but they say no, with a lot of creepy laughter, hinting at something more
Yeah,
nefarious.
Mrs. Goodbush
And the Nugget
vibe,
thinks
you're
they
right.
catch on that something is up, so they follow Pip and Styles, while Scotty shows Ronald and the gang around his house. And Scotty seems to be loaded. He essentially lives in a castle, and it has a lot of presumably valuable pieces of art in it. And in the house/castle, the Nugget things learn why Styles and Pip were acting so weird. They're actually building a robotic version of the McDonald Land Lock monster, so they can say they found it and win the $1 million reward for finding it. Then we cut to Birdie, who is alone. Or at least, that's what she thinks. The Hamburglar jumps out and scares her, but ends up ripping his pants, so he has to wear a
Jesus.
kilt. I like how they made him rip his pants just so they could put him in a kilt. That scene had no other purpose to it.
Nice legs, Hammy.
Actually, it's a refreshing alternative to the confines of traditional men's trousers.
Then
What? You just made an insult and then you take the insult as a compliment? This is some pure script writing. I love this.
Everyone goes outside and sings a song about finding the monster. But little do they know, the monster is right behind them.
Dear Mr. Monster, come on round.
Then Grimace gets a little too into the search and runs off on his own, where these sheep believe that he is their mother. He is
Jesus.
pretty fluffy looking. Then Birdie does a similar thing, but unlike Grimace, remembers that the monster lives in the water, and not out in the woods or whatever. So when Birdie goes looking for the monster, she actually finds it, and the two become acquainted with each other. Birdie wants to go tell everyone that she found the monster, but the monster tells her that she can't tell anyone that he
It
exists.
is really pretty good
because
for
the
kids
people that
movie.
live around him would try and capture him, because they don't like monsters. So the monster then guilt trips Birdie into not telling anyone that he exists, and she
Damn.
promises that she won't tell anyone.
That's like, this reminds me of that one Fraggle Rock episode where Red finds like a Goo monster or something, and she tells everyone. No, she promised to keep it a secret. Script writing is peak. I love it.
My heart and hope to fly. Your secret is safe with me.
You never told me your name.
It's Birdie. What's yours?
Simon. Bye-bye, buddy. And don't forget, I'm your little secret.
Turns out, though, that Ronald is secretly watching this whole thing take place, but he can't watch for too long, as he and Birdie get called away to go help Grimace, who has been chased up a tree by the sheep. I would love to know how he got up there. There's no way he could climb that. To get rid of Grimace's tormentors, Ronald blows a cloud into the sky that's in the shape of a sheep, and makes the sheep run off, telling them it's their mother. And to get Grimace down from the tree, Ronald blows a bubble that catches him and brings him down. Now everyone is done looking for the monster, as they don't believe it's real, minus Birdie and Ronald. But they have to keep it a secret. The gang runs off to go see the festival that is currently taking place around the McDonaldland Lock. And that thing I mentioned briefly earlier about Birdie having to keep a secret comes into play here. And she can't spill this one like she did the others. It then cuts to Styles and Pip, who have completed their robot. So now they can get that $1 million. But the Nugget Things, being the troublemakers they are, climb inside the robot, and they proceed to take it out for a spin by breaking it out of the house and marching it halfway to the festival. Gives a whole new meaning to housebreaking the pet, doesn't it?
Jesus.
Hey, I had to have at least one stupid pun in this video. But they break it before it gets all the way there, so the Nugget Things retreat, and now it's moving without anyone controlling it. At the festival, Ronald, who always has to be the center of attention, breaks out into song and sings about the monster once again. A lot of monster songs in this one.
What dancing is that?
During the song and dance number, though, Styles...
Imagine being able to build an
Oh
app
my
with your
god,
name on
we're
it
almost supposed to
just
be
by
in, and
thinking
this what
about it.
happens.
Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform.
Alright, well, what?
And Pip's robot monster walks in, and everyone runs away because they think that it's the real monster, and the robot grabs Birdie and carries her off in its mouth. Ronald, being the magical hero that he is, once again does some weird magic stuff and brings this wooden fence to life so he can ride it like a horse. Ronald
Jesus.
then lassos the monster and saves Birdie from its mouth. And while Ronald and Birdie are alone, he reveals that he saw her talking to the real monster earlier, and they need its help to defeat the robot one.
Donald, why didn't you say something?
Oh!
I know how to keep a secret too.
Then he and Birdie ride into town.
Why she gotta get in trouble?
I don't know how they convinced him. It's not shown. He was very adamant before about not revealing himself to the humans. Simon then throws down with the robot monster and ends up destroying it. This kind of reminds me of Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. I wonder if that inspired this episode at all. Pip and
Probably.
Styles then get arrested.
It was all his idea. He's the brains of the outfit.
Oh, you're just being nice. He helped a lot too.
Thanks for the confession.
And since Simon saved the town, no one is scared of him, and he gets hailed as a hero. As a thank you gift to Scotty for inviting them out, since Pip and Styles are in prison and can't do it, Ronald makes Scotty the statue that he wanted, as Grimace says goodbye to the sheep from earlier, who somehow shaved themselves to make him a sweater.
Jesus.
Then everyone hops back in the car to drive back home, but the car gets stuck in the water. So for one last time, Ronald does his famous whistle, and calls Simon to help them across the water, which he does, and then everyone learns the lesson for the day. Keep secrets, don't gossip, don't judge a book by its cover, maybe? I don't know, it's one of those. The main thing is that Birdie did not snitch on the monster's existence. Then we cut back to live-action Ronald, who has a monster in his house. Oh no. Well, actually, it's not a monster. It's just Bernie, who washes Ronald's windows.
Oh, you mean Bernie? He's not a monster. He's the window cleaner.
And then Ronald tells us bye one last time.
Indeed.
And like all of the other episodes, at the end of this one, another is teased. And the narrator guy says that there is another wacky adventure coming soon.
So keep watching. There's another wacky adventure coming soon.
But that would never happen. This was the final episode. So what was the deal with that? Well, no one knows, but I can make some guesses. The first being that they said this for no reason, and had no plans at all to make more, and just did it so it would have the same ending as the other episodes. My second idea is that we didn't get more episodes due to issues with Klasky Chupo, the ones who animated it. They may have just not been interested in doing more, or some deals fell through. That's my most speculatory one, though. I have no basis for that. It's just an idea to throw out there. But my final guess is the one I personally believe. Around this time period in the mid-2000s, the McDonaldland world and characters in it were kind of being phased out. They would still appear in, like, some branding material, but their presence was a lot less noticeable than it was before. And the characters' homeland of McDonaldland was, like, gone completely in commercials by this point. And it would be weird to have an animated series starring characters that are outdated and not really relevant anymore, especially since it was for marketing purposes. Ronald would last the longest, until about 2016. Now, just for clarification, because I feel like I'm explaining this in a bit of a confusing way, in the mid-2000s, McDonald's as a brand wanted to stop being seen as, like, being for kids. It was a whole thing that I don't have time to get into, but there was some controversy about advertising fast food to kids, so McDonald's pulled back on using their McDonaldland world, and would slowly stop using its more wacky marketing.
Okay, so the reason too why the series stopped was, again, this is kind of like the fall with that little lawsuit with H&R Pump and stuff as well. But what happened was, with all those VHS tapes that were being released in McDonaldland, especially like the first 5 episodes, a lot of copies were getting sold out, and McDonald's, they ran out of copies so quickly for stores. So again, it was a new series. It was selling McDonald's nationwide. So that's what happened. It's one of the reasons for it too was, I remember seeing this as well, was that a lot of copies were sold and a lot were being sold out in McDonald's, that McDonald's themselves ran out of copies to be continuing sold into stores. So literally after the 6th episode, that's where the series kind of ended, due to so much copies were being sold into stores and being sold out quick. But yes, I agree. Either 5 or 10 episodes will be still good. Not to mention you got pulled from mainstream. I think you're gonna mention that too. I just want to take a pause on it.
Stuff. Except for pretty rarely, they would bring a character back here and there. A good example, like 2 years ago I think it was, you had the Grimace Shake. It's just like occasionally they bring these characters back. Another good example would be, right now.
To get started in data analytics, you don't need previous experience or a degree. The Google Data Analytics Certificate will teach you to code in
which is crazy. I had this video topic picked out pretty soon after my last one. Before this was announced, I was like, oh, this will be a fun little thing to talk about. I bet this Ronald McDonald animated series hasn't been thought about for a while. But while I was making the video, McDonald's decided to go and do this big marketing campaign thing about the McDonaldland world and characters coming back. They made a new commercial, they made a new meal. It seems like a pretty big deal, because all of these characters appearing together in this world has not happened in a very long time. And you know who they brought back? They brought back Sunday the freaking dog, who has not appeared in anything for years. Well, he did appear in like one commercial, but other than that, that dog has been dead for years.
Right.
They have these little cards you can get with a meal for the different characters, and on Ronald's card is Sunday the dog. I'm sorry, I'm just freaking out about how they brought back this dude just whenever I decided to make a video on the series he originated from.
Those Happy Meal stuff would be sold out so quick.
All in all, the Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald was a fun
they
little
brought back
footnote
Ronald
in
too.
McDonald's history. Something I like about the series is how it wasn't just an ad. Like, Ronald didn't solve an issue by looking at the camera and saying, "Good thing I have my Big Mac." Don't get me wrong, there was still a little bit of advertising. Ronald sleeps in a burger bed, for crying out loud. But nothing really ever felt out of place. It felt like it could have actually been an animated series that would have fit if it aired on TV. The animation, too, was also pretty solid. Oh, and the voice acting was also great. You had some big names in the cast. You had D. Bradley Baker as Sunday, Kevin Michael Richardson as Grimace, Christine Cavanaugh as Birdie, and then Charlie Adler as Hamburglar. Some pretty big names in the voice acting realm. Anyways, though, I hope you enjoyed this look back at the wacky adventures of Ronald McDonald. And if you did, a subscription, a like, and maybe even a comment would be greatly appreciated. Especially so since this video was so long, and I think I put it out fairly quickly. I was working like non-stop on this thing after I saw that new McDonald Land comeback campaign. And if you don't know what to comment, I'll link the episodes to the series in the description, and if you won't, you can check them out. And let me know which episode is your favorite. Mine is probably the time travel one, and my least favorite was probably the Birthday World one. Now, before I end the video, I have one more thing to say. Ronald, hit it.
Right?
The wacky adventures of Ronald McDonald.
Now bring back Mac tonight.
I'm calling it too. All right. Well, cool. That was interesting. I'm glad we sat down for 51 minutes of that whole video. All right, y'all. It's 10 o'clock here, so you already know what time it is. It's time to wind things down a bit. Thank you guys so much for joining on in tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna go live Thursday. I know we have I might go live Thursday because we do got that premiere Thursday, by the way, too. Want to set your reminders for that? Go ahead. Saturday, we'll be going live. I don't know for sure if Tyler is going to call. I mean, sucks that they wasn't on here tonight because I wasn't sure. Yeah, got moved and stuff. But I'll be live Thursday after the little premiere. That's happening Thursday. And then, of course, we'll have another Saturday night live funness and stuff. So, yeah, that's true. Maybe, I think they're waiting till, I don't know. I know Taylor's always busy and Tyler's always busy too. So, I guess, it can catch every stream, and I understand that. But I did want to show her that the bib did got moved, though, because she didn't mention it yesterday. But, anyway, when they're always in here, it's always a great time. And hopefully by Saturday, they do give me that call, even though Taylor told me no promises. But, before we go, ladies and gentlemen, let's close it out tonight with the goodnight song.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say good night, sweetheart. Good night. Sorry, baby. Take it, Beach. I gotta go. Oh, I gotta leave. I gotta get out. I gotta get out right now. I'm going home. Oh, baby. Beach Bear's out of here. I'm gone. Good night, sweetheart. Good night. Oh, speaking of history, there was a time when there was no loony birds. Kids hummed quietly to themselves while sitting patiently waiting for dinner to end. But no longer do they have to suffer the slings and arrows of a macaroni dinner. I love you so. Good night, sweetheart. Well,